お、アリスさんどうも。こんばんは。よかったら、見ませんか？ Day2。俺、誰が優勝したかだけしか知らない。試合がどう運んだのかは俺は知らないから、それだけ。ね、Day1 を見てくる Day2 見てない。あ、そうなんですか？いや、俺もね、リアルタイムでは Day1 見てなかったけど、で、まあ、今日みたいに、この、観戦配信してたんですよ。あと観戦配信。ちっちゃいで、今はリアタイでも後から。おー、2回視聴っすか？いいっすね。
What is going on, Fortnite fam? Welcome to the FNCS Invitational, all happening live from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is day number 2. And in case you missed out on any of the action yesterday, don't you worry about it. We're going to get you up to speed. Looking for just one player separates them, but Acorn will not survive. And Sadie and Cammy take game number 1. Game number 2. And this is what we talked about. That wall.
なんなら俺、配信見ながらちょうどあれです。初見です。3編参加しました。いらっしゃいませ。なんて読んだらいいんだ？コウさんか。コウさん、はじめまして。よろしくお願いします。ECG のタクトです。でね、今日はアリーナ参加型じゃなくて、Day2 僕見てないんで、それの後観戦配信っていうのをやってます。まあ、もし見てなかったら、一緒に見ましょう。あ、はんぺんさんのモデレーターか。もうはんぺんさん、なんか、声変わるやつで遊んでたね、なんか。なんか画質悪くね？画質悪いと思ったら俺の画質ゴミだったわ。そう、ボイチェン今日使ってるんでね、面白いなと思った。競技勢の人は絶対見てると思う。うん、絶対見てる。いやね、僕もね、ストリーマーだけど、競技は出てるから、それなんて言ったらいいかな。2シーズン前だったっけ？マイザクラさんいたじゃないですか。あの人がグランドファイナル行ってさ、ストリーマーでグランドファイナル行ったっていうのが、いや、いいなと思って、それが。まあ、そんくらい強くなって俺もストリーマーでグラファいけるように強くなりたい。
Day 2, and seeing how Day 1 went, I cannot wait to see how Day 2 unfolds. We've seen representation from all 7 regions throughout this tournament, and currently with 3 EU duos in first, second, and third place, the action it's at an all-time high.
Absolutely, but Day 1 was a story of twists and turns. We didn't just see things going one way. We saw everything happening, and of course, we saw some crazy plays.
That's right, man. Queasy and
一回ね、
the favorites to win
ミリムザゴが
after day number 1 and they
あ、
are
イラストレーター部門で頑張ってる。ああ、いやもう頑張ってください。
And this is after the interviews yesterday where they kind of were saying, you know, there's a few things we might have made a couple mistakes on. and they felt that if they buttoned those things up, they could come in today even stronger.
Look, what more is there to say about this powerhouse duo? They've already taken home 2 championships out of the 3 in this current Chapter 3 of the FNCS. Not only that, taking home both EU and NA East crowns of the most recent Elite Cups.
まあ僕の目標は
They're a duo too. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with them, Mini. I don't think anybody in this lobby wants to either.
最近はんぺんにキーボードの ASMR 撮ったらバズるよって言ったらマジで動画上げてたそう、なんか俺もね、一回上げてね、ASMR 賞味あんまわかんないから、普段見てるわけじゃないから、なんかキーボードのタイピングがあるからそれを撮った。はんぺんさんね、ディスコードとかでも結構キーボード音が聞こえるんだけど、いやめっちゃタイピング早いなと思った。僕の目標は、デュオとトリオの味方を探すこと。でももうアジア1位とかじゃなくて、まず探すことからが目標か。ちょっとびっくりしたボスは4分頃から3
I certainly am, Zeke, right now. Raleigh, could you please get a huge round of applause for Queasy and Vino?
これか。ライブ配信中で ASMR 撮ってたからコメント消せよと思ったお、ライセルこんばんは。で、ほとんどソロしか出てない。そういうことか。いや、俺もね、本当は今シーズン出る予定じゃなかった。けど、やっぱ大金ね。分かってるよ。大丈夫、大丈夫。誰が、そう、俺は、ツイッター見ちゃって、誰が勝利したかだけは知ってる。もう家庭とか、なんかそうだね。なんかチャプター4が始まるみたいなやつ見た。でさ、フォートナイト JP ニュースだっけ？そのアカウントあるじゃん。ツイッターの。まさかのその公式にリプ送って早すぎるよって送ってたのがマジでシュールで面白かった。これ絶対これいらねえ。
The FNCS Invitational. 50 of the best duos from around the world representing 7 regions, duking it out for the lion's share of $1 million. First place, walking away with $200,000. But not just that.
でもなんか来シーズンソロって言われてるから、もし競技強くなるなら来シーズンめっちゃ頑張れば。でもソロはもう基本が詰まり込んでるからね。どうなんだろう。まあそうか。チャプターが変わるってことは多分武器も結構変わるよね。逆になんかマップが俺の予想な1個の予想、マップが宇宙に吸われてマップ自体崩れてなんか新しいマップになんか隕石として落下していくんじゃないかなっていう。なんて言ったらいい？今使ってるマップが隕石みたいになって新しいマップに落ちてくっていう俺の勝手な予想。シーズン2あたりに結構普通のやつになるんだと思う。 この予想はマップが真っ二つになって半分チャプター2のマップで半分チャプター3のマップになる。あー、おクイズイベノ今の1位だね。あ、アジア勢があとの6試合どこまでいけるかな、気になるね、すごく。おー、トトちゃんさん、トトちゃんさん、トトさんでいいか、トトさん、こんにちは。配信ファイトありがとうございます。キングカメラマンにグータッチおもろ
Absolutely incredible. Once again, just our first 10 duos coming back onto the stage after 6 games yesterday. I feel like we can't not talk about them, right? Brazil, PH Zin, Kitos.
なんかめっちゃ雑談に入ってるくね、みんな。団長さんとか。どうした？
4 championships alone, 1 for Kitos, total of 5 FNCS championship titles for the duo. I mean, they're incredible.
Yeah, they really are. They're playing so good. They're getting to the front side of zone. I'm excited to see them today.
That's right. Let's go ahead and meet the next 10 players. Let's run it.
英語に何言ってるのか分からんから翻訳して無理。無理。俺も分からん。おクリックスデュークか。僕はね、今日の夜ご飯が鍋なので、ちっちゃい鍋を持ってきて今食べてます。美味しいです。やあ神楽さん、ルーナペポー。あ、僕18歳だよ。ね、俺結構ペポも好きだよ。お、アリス。僕の人18歳だよ。待って、俺が待って、コメントが俺ちっちゃすぎて読めてないだけだわ。あ、何鍋か、鍋か。鍋が年に見えた。何鍋？なんだろうこれは。いろんなもの煮込んだやつ。豚肉とか 白菜とか、あと豆腐とかも入ってるね。いや偉いわ。お酒は飲めません。お酒飲んだら僕は一発脱退になります。アンペンによるとルナペプ顔出し完全配信して、まあもし1000人超えたらいいよ。1000人超えて来年世界大会とかあったら別にいいよ。ほろ酔いならワンチャン。いやダメなんだよ。バナナ何時まで配信？これが終わるまで。19で酒飲んでるやつだっているんだぞ。犯罪者。そうだそうだ。あの人19歳だっけ？ GW 過去脱退した人。お酒飲みながらなんてコメントした覚えなかった。わら。どういうこと？酔ってるだろそれは。海外でみんなイケメンだよね。それは思う。おたぶの花火行ってら。キング結構最後らへんじゃなかったっけ？なんか乗っ取られてねそれ。マイココさんこんばんは。いえいえ全然また暇の時頼んでもらえれば。次の世界2026そんなことないと思うけど、コロナ禍だったコロナだったからあれ世界大会が結構延期になっただけであって。高評価ポチってます。ありがとうございます。あれもしかして今全員終わった？あれザコたちもう出てないよね。もう全然遊びましょう。誘ってもらえれば。挨拶回りしてきます。いってらっしゃいませ。ピーターボージャンプ。ジャンパーにしか見えないんだけど。ミリムの可愛さ。ミリム可愛いよね。可愛いよね。でも俺も思った。あれは可愛いと思った。普通に男なのに。 あれはずるい。あの顔はずるいです。ね。なんか写真からさ、もう小柄感が出てるやん。なんか昨日さ、誰だっけ、なんかザゴ眠そうって言ってた人目が細すぎて眠そうに見えるんだよな、マジで。あー、ザゴミリム。やっぱ緊張感ないね。ね。というわけで飛ばします。ザゴミリム来たんで。面ぐらいか。よし、俺の目的を果たした。ザゴミリムまでは見たかったから。おお、ここの高架か。こんなとこ。あのね、なんかあれ2年前だっけ、前あったのって。部屋が工事中でも放題ね、えぐ。なんか3年前の世界大会あった時、マウフィンがまあ言ってたんだけど、なんかやっぱうるさくて集中できないらしい。お、神セッティチーム。さすがに当てるんかい。強すぎでしょ。うん。もうさ、マジで多分3年後くらいになると思うけど、もし俺が FNCS グランドファイナルに行ったら応援してね。3年経ってもいけるか分からんけど。あ、なんか日本人っぽい顔の人いるよね。逆にアリスは日本人っぽくない？顔がね。おお。あ、なんならもう今終わってるようなもんだよ。だいぶフォトナン終わってるからな。そうそうそうそう。そんな感じ。ね。やっぱね、ウィッケシー見たかったな。やっぱもったいなかったと思う。もしかしたらまた出られるかどうかもわかんないのにね。うん、そうだね。真っ赤な顔、酒飲みがけのやつはもう酔ってるね。うん。予告とウィッケシー君。
Hold up. Savage stepping up to the wall. Let's see how quickly he can turn us around.
Yeah, right now it just seems like the aggressor is off this spot.
おお、ワンパン。
Mr. Savage just get absolutely done up.
Mr. Savage down.
Continuing that momentum from yesterday, putting high drop on the back foot. He's just trying to stay alive right now and stabilize the situation.
俺はペポの声と顔が合ってないことに。うんね。ペポって声高いからね。高いのに、体でかいし、顔がっちりっていいかな。してるからマジで合ってない。あー。確かにそれはあるかも。
I think it's very much worth it. Get those points. Make up for the games that you were bested out on. And this time around, Baco with the display. Everyone close your eyes. You saw nothing. We move on.
今さ、今左下見た？え、何やってんのって今顔してたよ。今落下死した後の相方の視線が。おいおい、わざわざ FNCS のチャンピオンアクセ来てるっすね。30歳以上の人いるかな？多分いないでしょうね。
And Vidal and Janus are such a great team. It's unfortunate they're being contested.
Yeah, this is what more we were looking towards seeing today. It may have started off a little slow, but Smite and Larson know how dangerous they can be, especially if they have the high ground against Muzz and Looter. But the longer this one takes, it looks like it was a little bit of a north zone. A lot of teams are going to begin to rotate in. So you know as well as I do, the longer you take, the more chance of a third party. And that's going to be Larson and Spite's job right there.
いやー、ほんとエイムいいな。
They just continuously hold that high ground.
マジでエイムお化け。
They're showing us that they actually want to take this fight. Smite and Larson, some of the most confident players we have actually seen.
Yeah, he's not backing down.
Looter's like, what's up? You guys want to do this? I play better. Box to box. Come see me.
That could have been a key. That could have been a huge key for success for Smite and Larson because winning those off-spawn exchanges gets you the storm, so you don't have to worry about.
あね、なんかね、これシーズン変わったらなんかチャンピオンアックスが戻るみたいななんか言われてるけどそんなことないらしいよ。チャンピオンアックス没収されないらしい。さすがにないでしょう、それは。でもあのトロフィーめっちゃかっこいいなと思った、普通に。シンプルだけどなんか、どう言ったらいいかな、ダイヤモンド感って言ったらいいかな。まるでダイヤモンドで作られたような輝き。
So for them, it's about re-matting up because you look, they barely have anything.
Well, lucky for us, things are going to simmer down, and Taco's going to give us the quick update.
待って、俺、あれ、
But more importantly,
Give us the
up because you look, they barely have anything.
well, lucky for us, things are going to simmer down.
これ上も取れるの？
Quick update.
これ上取れるの知らなかったんだけど、俺。
but more importantly, it's going to be about some of these Southside teams that are again going to be finding themselves making a huge journey towards those.
あれ、昔と今って音違うの？チャンピオンアックス。
In that fourth place position on the leaderboard, so it is absolutely crucial for these guys to gather as much materials, as much loot and resources as possible, and that's exactly what Ziandi and Joe are making sure to take their time to do because they know they've got quite the journey ahead of them, and they're going to make the most of it. But let's get back to the action.
Thank you so much for that breakdown there, Taco. It really does give us the full picture about Joe and Ziandi's journey in the game here, right? They're one of the few teams, like we said, they, against all odds, perform very well with the zone not landing them.
Yeah, and you kind of see a little bit of how they're getting that job done, but Smite in the feed, looking like he's already going to take down Muzz, leaving Looter in a 1v2 situation. I'm getting that feeling of deja vu from yesterday where they 1v2'd inside of the cave, but it got really, really dangerous.
It's a great angle for Smite here. He almost catches Looter off guard. He was so ready, but here comes the defensive shots from down low. He's got to be careful. That wall is not his, and now he has to break through. This is how a pro player turns things around. Larson comes from behind and throws tomatoes on the body just like that.
トロフィーの
Exactly how he's feeling right now, but there goes that first elimination.
原材料、段ボール、プラスチックと 神説それはやばいだろ。マジ？いやいや、見る見る、絶対見るもん俺。なんなら12時多分過ぎると思うよ、普通に。
Mixing things up, seems like they haven't caught a break just yet. But way to kick things off. Raze is down, in fact, as well. So this is a one-on-one type situation. The question is, can he find his way to a reboot, Van? The longer this goes on, the tougher it's going to be for him to go ahead and turn this bad situation around.
Yeah, but don't worry. If they're going to go ahead, and right now Alex has the opportunity with the med miss and the flopper, they can try to get a reboot that is in Storm, but you got to do it sooner rather than later. But it doesn't look like Pars wants to let that one come easy. And you can see the zone on the left. That's another northern zone. So the players that we were talking about, Janice and Vidil, Joe and Z, Andy, and a lot of those teams that are on the southern portion of the map have to go ahead and figure out a way to go ahead and travel as fast as possible yet again.
Looks like we're picking up the trend where we left off.
It's
Full zone pull. But Joe and Zian have already proven to us they know how to play these. One thing we do know for certain is so does Vino and Queasy. When the zone lands on top of them, they have turned all of those games around.
あの距離でもサージ稼いでくるのやばすぎるでしょ。怖いわ、ほんま。あ、そう、リアン昨日いたね。アレックスってめっちゃうまいよね。俺ね、マジで海外勢をほとんど知らない。ガチで有名な人以外。
Eliminations on day one, most of any duo. The consistency coming out of some of these teams is absolutely insane. But jumping on board, Queasy and Vino, our first place team. They got the zone that you talked about, and you can look how they're setting up right on top of the blimp. They're not necessarily
顔が映っておりません、ベノの。リートしてる、リート。ニートエピックホエール。だから今のこのチームの人とか俺あんま知らないよ。スナッキーとかね。あ、ラメズさんこんにちは。鍋食いながら FNCS 後観戦します。おお。
Everybody's hitting that VOD review after day number one. They want that free rotation, especially since they are in the storm. But I did see Booga go down. Malibuka getting a knock on to Andalex. But for this team, I love this rotate now. Cammy and Seti were in a different position yesterday. They were
down on zero, but
for Trulex and Ticho, they are over 300 above. They have absolutely nothing
to
worry
about
other than finding that sweet spot in zone.
Here's Colton Scented. Playing very smart, taking their time.
この間昔あったねスケボー。
Interested in playing as individuals here. Scented trusting in his teammate to watch his back while he works on the loot. Tripern and Thomas HD coming in at second place today, finding themselves 19 above the surge. Big task in front of them, but this is perfect. Talk about a delivery. You find a player. It's Grolls, one that we know was.
そういえばまだザゴーミリムたち出てないな。いやね、なんかね、柔らかかったら多分なんか紙っぽかったよね、あれ。めっちゃ柔らかかった。そうなんですよ。僕ちょっと昨日全部ビクルしちゃってかわいそうだから全部2にしといた。全部2で落下してあげました。全試合 W キー。最後の試合だけちょっと失敗しちゃったんですよね。顕在管理ちょっと甘くなりすぎて。何このネタ。これみんな入ってなくね。
Just outside of the zone as well. KBR and Z, they have plenty of heals to work with. And that's exactly why they're staggering themselves so far back. 200
みんな入れてないよね、多分これ。
That's a feeling of comfortability as Storm Surge begins to activate.
みんなめっちゃ稼ぐからさ、ストームサージどれだけ稼いでも明日わかんないな。実はペノって阿部ちゃん、ベノあ、お前だったのか。お前スイッチで世界大会出てたのか。全然気づかなかったわ。あっとぜ、ガチで机の下にカチカチやってるで、あれ。これ下のチームあれなのか。おお。
What a way to continue to climb their way up that top 10.
I just preface that type of situation. If you're down on surge, you almost have to beeline it to the
あなたが神だったか。嘘は良くないよ。神は俺だよ。何を言ってんだ。おミリムー。
Joe and Zandy also feeling the pressures of a late rotate coming out the zone. Luckily, there is of course the edge right in front of him, so this is going to be a slow mover.
これ移動きついね。みんな打ってくるからめっちゃきついやん。これミリも起こせるのかな。ダウンだったかな今。見れてなかったわ。いやもう健在の領域えぐ。Is going to get so stacked and it's going to get so hard for some of these players to traverse through as Thomas HD and Tripperin still trying to hold on to as much of the high ground as possible. And you can see him peeking through, gathering all that information, and that's so important because you don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
This is my problem with them disengaging from Grols and Rifty. Little did they know that would have been an excellent fight for them to take. They were just coming off of a reboot pickup. And now looking back at it, they could have used that damage.
これ多分結構上空いてんな。
Is going to force them into either peeking, which will open up the risk, or jumping onto a player. And they're going to go for high ground here. They're going to go for position. They find a box. No one's inside of it. And a quick check just in case. Tripper and all of a sudden finds himself in a world of trouble here. Just a couple of seconds before this surge turns on.
実は僕ジャニーズなんですよ。なんか俺そのセリフさ、切り抜きに見たことあるわ。
It is so tough to find the shots that you need because everybody's just boxed up. Nobody wants to peek. Nobody wants to bite off more than they can chew because then that is how you go down. 329 above, Acorn by himself. He has very little to worry about in terms of surge. For him, it's just about making it to zone game after game.
He's so lucky. The zone actually pulls south. We saw what Acorn was able to do yesterday as a solo. He picked up so many points, and that post-game interview was perfect. We got to hear the credit from Edgy, but Thomas HD, the surge is active. No way they go.
そう俺が全部借りしたからな。
They are not playing around, but this is some of NA West's best box fighters on the other side of the wall. Thomas HD, Tripper have to take this battle here. They do not have time to sit around. Looking out, anything for anything. There it is. Baka opens the wall. No tag. That's a miss. That's a problem. Might have found a little bit here. He's now leading. He does have the HP advantage. And he goes. The edit comes from the side. A great job. EU. One goes down. Can they turn it around? Baka needs to clutch up here. No HP. Shot from behind as well. He gets the trade. This is such a tough position.
He has to try to find a stabilize and find a moment to breathe right now because it was game 5 yesterday. He 1v2'd Mr. Savage and iDrop at the top of Chrome Jam. Now he's trying to do the same thing, but I don't know if he was able to get the opportunity to revive on one. So
これ30以上にできたのでかいね。しかもここが使えるの強っ。
This is crazy. The map awareness, understanding the vault was just nearby and fighting their way towards it for the heals. It wasn't just for the battle, it was the positioning to the vault. What a big play here. It all makes sense as to why they wanted to position themselves here, but still, they will need to find
なんとしてでもサージダメージ稼ぐよっていう勢いが強かったな。ジャニーズはプロの名前です。イケメンなのにゲームまで上手かったのもマジで嫌だわ。ブサイクでもさ、ゲーム上手かったらチヤホヤされるんさ、今。それにイケメンまで追加されたらもう。In his line of sight, he's trying to hunt, but somebody, that's Seti who takes that one away. That was Fast's best chance at Storm Surge damage. え ?4 以上だったはずなんだけど今。We know Edgy was a solo, now we have Thatch as a solo as well. A tough position to be in. Take a look at the points. It is looking very much like a three-way race, continuing the trend here as EU leads the charge right now. GW 所属のタクトです。
Even though for Thomas and Tripper and Storm Surge is not activated right now, they knew where they last stood when it came to that damage. Exactly that. They are still below. It is still a worry for them.
いや、ちょっと鍋の量が多い。だいぶお腹いっぱいなんだけど。
They have the high ground. They have that perfect opportunity if they're low on Surge to just clean up the lobby. And we wanted to check in with Vino and Queasy. How have they managed to take this zone favor and turn it to their advantage?
どうもフリーエージェントのタクトです。いやね、食えない。こう喋ってるとさ、食べれないよ。
This can only end well for them at this point, but let's go ahead and look at Aqua, Reason, a much different story. This is a team that will play for height, and you can see they're already positioned themselves to do it. But
Oh my god. Oh.
For the risk, was it worth it? Reason has to leave behind. He turns
いや、これはやばいぞ。
says, "Whoa, what are you doing? That's a solo now." And the burning of the mats here to try to survive. That's unfortunate for Aqua.
Yep. He was right there trying to chop down, and that was tantalizing him to go for that shot right then and there, and he went for it.
いや違う、もう用意してもらってたんよ。俺どうせ帰ってくるの遅いからさ、鍋にちっちゃい鍋にある程度用意してって感じ。それを温めたらもう食べれるよって感じのやつ。
Biggest damage dealers in the lobby throughout 6 games yesterday. Looking to keep that up for Cammy and Seti. They started the day in third. They moved up to second already. So their game plan is continuing.
だからね、親は親の分でも
So things are really starting to get interesting now as we're seeing changes happen. Joe is still in this game as well. Take a look. Acorn as a solo right now, making do with anything right. Honestly, when we last tuned in, he barely had something but
お、クイジーベのハイカル取った。
and Vino have now solidified themselves as the Titans up top.
Yeah, that feeling of deja vu sinks in yet again. 6 moving zone. That's the same time they took it yesterday as Thomas and Tripperin. This time around, they're going to have that flexibility because they're 141 above the damage threshold this time, so they don't have to go hunting. They can stay ahead of zone, try to get themselves in a good spot.
And what a beautiful way and usage of the shield bubbles to make their rotate on the dead side while using the shield bubbles. Candy though caught slipping there, and Zeddy is left now.
一気に減りすごいな。
This endgame to the hands of Larson.
まあ大丈夫でしょう。とりあえず全部食えればいいから。
These players are going to have to figure out what they're going to do, especially Tripper, who is out of builds. Him and Thomas have to figure out something, but they have been through the ringer this game. If anybody deserves it, it's them.
This is crazy. Tripper and Thomas should not be alive right now, but they are staying up. Thomas,
he does it again!
True Lex with a huge refresh, and he is back in the game. It will come at the expense of Tripper falling, though. But hey, they have earned points, and now we have another top 3 player.
情報量が多すぎて何が起きてるかわからん。ね。
gonna take a fight there, but no, they want to make this rotate. They need to get to the zone. What a great layer change here from Sentence, and it's all about smart play from him.
Yeah, he had two
いやすごい
floppers
回復量がすごい
on
よ
the backside of zone. Thomas doing everything he can to stay alive, just like Larson here, who's by himself. 5 eliminations as a team, most of them coming off the back of Larson and that early game
お
start.
ニヌヒアン
But first place,
ヤッホー
Queasy and Vino holding on high to the high ground in the sky.
And Brazil is still alive in this game as well. So we have EU, NA, and Brazil all in this same game. You can see the heals coming out from Kitos and PH in there. They still have so much to work with. 2 of our top 5 teams already out. So for Vino and Queasy,
子たちはねどうだろうまだ生きてるかわかんないいつの間にか死んでるかも おセンテッドやってるいやーでもこれヘリやばいなこれレベルが高いおお OMG OMG これ決勝じゃない普通に2日目だよ最近何のアニメハマってますか最近アニメ見てないけど普通に好きなアニメついこの前普通に2日目世界大会はあれだよ2日セールだからそう最近ハマってるというかソードアートオンラインっていうアニメ知ってるかなおおクイズペノ強っそうそうそうそうんソードアートオンラインがまあもともとね2022年のいつだったかな10月ちょっとの後半の辺くらいでまあねゲームスタートっていうやつだったゲームがちょうど発売されたんだよねイキリとはなんか違うわアニメ内でそのゲームがリリースされてなんか改めてなんかいろんなのが詰まったやつが発売されてたよ最近見れてないねアニメやっぱアニメを見てる時間がないねあでも俺好きなアニメやばい名前が出てこない妖術だ妖術妖術はね俺好きだねようこそ実力至上主義の教室へっていうアニメあれは面白いと思った
and Veno, it's the same outcome. What I noticed about them doing really, really well there was in second move.
リリースオフからオンに変えた時の違和感半端ない。うん、結構半端ないよ。
Running out of steam because they used all their hard mats earlier on. Queasy and Veno are different. They know how to play high ground. The most turnover of height happens in second zone, and they were reinforced in metal. A little something to pick up on in that gameplay.
I'm telling you, it's just one of those things, right? They kind of take that step back and they say, wait, remember, this is an invitational. We got to be on point. We can't make those small mistakes. And of course, they come out strong. Thomas HD and Trippin as well. We watched the top three. They have not budged.
Look, I got scared for a moment watching Thomas HD and Tripper, and they went up against Bobcat.
僕今何位だったかな。
You can actually see it happening here, and that was a close one. One of them, I believe it was Thomas. No, it was Tripperin who got knocked down here.
ここすごいと思ったマジで。
A huge amount of damage before getting knocked, and was actually able to escape and get picked up again, which allowed them to get those points that they needed.
Yeah, it was absolutely valiant from Trippin there as well. If he'd have just gone down without taking out one of the opponents there, he wouldn't have been able to get res, right? That was a crucial amount of damage that he did right there, and it allowed Thomas HD to have that freedom to get the revive. I didn't think they were going to make it through this endgame. Their surge were looking pretty bad, particularly for their zone position here. Of course, they're landing at the Rave Cave. They have all of the map mobility in the world to get there. It did require a nice little solo clutch from Thomas HD, who is synonymous with solo clutches.
Consistency, consistency, consistency is what this duo is showing. Yesterday, they got more than 20 points in every single match. Also, top 15 in every single match, and today they're looking to
わしていいかな。
That's right. Well, guess what? These are just some
わそう。
on that coast having a tough time.
Yeah.
Contested pretty much for very little loot, not much to work with. And that is the difference maker sometimes. When you have your route being imposed on, it's not all about taking head-to-head engagements. It's also about
ハブが入ってた。
Yeah, because you also got to remember, there is 7 different regions being represented right now. Some of these guys are the top dog in their region.
0点0点0点当たらん。
So this is a new feeling and a new thing for some of them to have to work through as Cammy and Seti yet again trying to get that early surge down as Larson and Smite taking control of the entire house over at Grim's Gables. A split spot coming out from Muzz and Looter. But you got to watch out if you're being this split against a team that is this active in Larson and Smite.
I did not expect Miro to fall
株
so
美
early,
味
but
し
it
い
looks like Kanata might have found himself a free knock in the air. As now we get to look over at Chapix and Tayson. The rotate out for Aqua losing his teammate right now. Reason is down, and Aqua, I can just feel the desperation. The look on his face tells it all, man, as they are communicating with one another. What went wrong?
You see Seti and Cammy join Aqua and Nyrox as the only players with multiple
sorry.
VRs in an
鍋に株。
international event. That is absolutely impressive as these two teams closing the gap between each other. They want that off-spot
株とか結構ちょくちょくもらうからさ。
They want redemption for what they've been going through. The
味噌汁とかに入れたり。
That last game was a great one for Smite and Larson. Officially jumping their way
でも
back
これが結構うまいんよ。
So if Muzz and Looter play spoiler here, it'll be a huge landslide moment for Smite and Larson. They can't afford that. Lovely for them to disengage and play this one out. Tripper and Thomas HD so far. For me, the play of the day has to go to them. They have managed to turn that last game around with nothing. Arguably, probably one of the worst positions we'll see them in over the course of the day.
And they had one of the most performances yesterday, almost 20 points in all 6 games. No other team had even 10 points in every game. So you got to imagine how that really puts them on the confidence scale coming into day number 2 as Joe and Z Andy are going to have a little bit of a
キュウリの水分が 95%?
So for some of these teams, it's going to be a little bit of an easier game, but some of them it's going to be equally as
それレタスじゃね
We have to jump in with KBR here because Z is down. We saw that exchange happen in the
95%だっけ
not completely
そんな高かったっ
clear
け
here at the Lustrous Lagoon in this
70% くらいだと思ったんだけど
tons of players that land in this general area. Runa and Peppo being a few. Chimp up at the north side alongside Scram being another set of duos, right? So that is very much a contested area, and now he has to play for the save.
なんで俺がキュウリになったの
Queasy and Vino. One of 2 teams in this event that has 2 victory royales so far in this tournament, and you're seeing how they're getting the job done. Going from balloon to balloon, the high ground, getting the surge, surveying the lobby is absolutely important. This is such a synergistic duo that cannot be stopped at the way they're going right now.
I don't want to call it too early, but
Hey,
the zone is leaning north. Is it going to end somewhere up there? Yes or no?
no. I I want to bet against it. I want to bet against it because some of these teams have been just going through the ringer with those north zones. I'd be okay with an eastern one, given some of our teams on that.
後で調べてみるか。
Of a chance to kind of climb up that leaderboard, but a team that doesn't need a chance because they take it by force is Wox and Robob Kebab. They're one of my favorite teams simply because of Robob's name.
Yeah, you say it all the way through every time. Have to. I don't have the heart to risk it. Bailey and Alex in a box fight right now versus Yusri and Ju. This is a long-awaited fight. It's been happening all weekend long. They're one of the few teams that have been contested, but not have really turned their winning fights into anything big in the end game, right?
It's huge. Wave, Ju and Yusri not backing down here. This is a fight that I think kind of settled every single game yesterday. Or at least I'd guess so, between Alex and Bailey, Ju and Yusri. But Alex and Bailey, I was kind of talking to them. Anybody in this tournament, realistically, including them, can pop off at a moment's notice. You just have to find a way to do it while staying consistent at the same time. And they want to go ahead and get this elimination. They want to go ahead and fight this, so that way they can
人
get
間
the
の顔に
surge
は
so they don't
大量のダニがいるらしい。布団にもあいますね、それは。
Every regular FNCS of the past, our contested teams this side around are actually having very good tournaments.
I think what we're seeing right now is stage pressure kicking in. I had a lot of time to kick up, really catch up and get to know Alex and Bailey in the lead up to all of this. And what they've managed to tell me is they were winning most of their creative head-to-head. So I think when it comes down to raw skill, Alex and Bailey might have the edge over Ju and Yusri, who are newer formed duo in final style settings. That's kind of what's happening here. Let's go to catch up with Miro, though. What's been going on with him down south?
Yeah, him and Booga, I've been wanting to see more of. This is a legacy-style event for them. And already, they're switching it up as Miro finding an early elimination onto Bebies. And that was a thing for them.
あ、落ちる。オッケー。いい1時間をありがとう。いや、こちらこそいい1時間。ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。
You're not really able to control your game if you're just forced to go for surge game after game.
That's right, but luckily for him, he does find a little bit of success there. An elim is huge, especially considering he can go ahead and rotate sooner rather than later. Thomas HD, Tripper, taking
ザ
their
ゴーたちみたい
destiny
な。
into their own hand this time around, really
って
turning
くれないかな、
around
ザゴ
this
ーたち
learning
側
from
に。
your previous game. They do not want to find themselves in another storm surge position where they have to fight for surge.
You can see that Thomas having more points as a solo than any other player in EU. But to me, that's not too surprising because we talk about his accolades. We talk about how legendary of a player he is. He just
いい
needs
人
to
生
seal
をあり
that
がとう。
deal
ん、あなた死んじゃうの？
FNCS championship, and he could really
いつ
cement
で？
themselves as one of the best players of all time.
And you can see he also led all damage on day number 1, really earning that respect there. You didn't believe it before. Seeing him do it in person is exceptional. As Seti and Cammy, we can speak to the same accolades. What a great duo here. Just really strategizing all the way through, playing so well so far, and continuing the trend. Last game, not so bad, right? They did enough to maintain the pace there in third.
おお、よかった、生き返った、生き返った。
That's where Tayson and Chapix, you can see a lot of those Cloudy Condos teams not able to get a ton of damage to put themselves up for a good mid game. But right now, they already took down Macwood, looking to go back to back and take down Kanata as well. They are hot on the heels. They don't want to let this one escape. The damage continues. The pressure is just insurmountable right now as Kanata is just trying to survive. Luckily for him, a couple of players joining on the fun. The tags come in from a third party. That's going to allow Kanata just a few seconds to try to stabilize against this European powerhouse.
Kanata and Macwood are
これは
uncontested
ね、
at their drop, so
ゲーム8だね。ここに書いてある。
full south to the edge of the zone here to see what they can make happen, but Kanata riding his way around the builds right now. You can see Tayson now jumping onto all the loot. Some of it was already scavenged through, so Kanata should have the reboot card there. If the distance shots come in, that could be Booga and Miro at the hill there. As we know, this is their area. They do play those outskirts. They will not rotate early to center. It's not how they do.
Kanata's just trying to stay alive right now on the edge of zone as well, so it's not even going to be a storm fight when it comes down to it. So Chapix and Tayson do exactly anything they want, and you can kind of see KBR, Zeet, 4th place. They go down in this one. That's not where you want to be, but the fight continues, and Kanata is doing an absolutely fantastic job fighting back against one of the best teams in the region of EU.
Let's see it. Chapix looking for the wall here. Kanata demanding respect, but gets punished first. 72 was a huge shot from Chapix there. and the edit comes through. He fights back. This is what pro players do so well. And Tayson still, against all odds, will turn that one around, but it was looking so dicey.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kanata and Macwood, that's where that consistency of yesterday kind of comes to a halt, but there's still a couple more games on the day. They can climb back at any moment.
That's right. Let's get a quick update from Taco on how things are going.
Been a lot of action taking place over in the Tilted Towers area as well throughout this game, but absolutely wanted to highlight the way that Acorn and Edgy have just managed to split their teamwork responsibilities. You've got Acorn just spending all of his time securing the loot, securing resources for this duo. Meanwhile, Edgy, he's making sure to take care of their surge management. The entire while, he's just posted up on high ground, looking everywhere he can for as many tags as possible so that their rotations can be as free as they need it.
And those are the strengths of Tilted Towers. Center location, it doesn't matter where the zone goes. They have a strategy that has been so solid every single time. And again, as we give you guys the updates, top 5 has changed as 4th place is now out of the competition. You see there is a slight misplay from KBR.
Throw
down a chug splash, but unfortunately sends one into the bush.
かわいそうです、それは
Gets
もう。
eliminated there by Wax and Robob. And the reaction, that's a tough one there because, again, they were doing very well pacing in Game 8.
Yeah, just hopefully right now mentally, they realize that they can still do very, very well. They can still jump up a ton of placings in the next couple
あの
of
攻撃の
games.
仕方とっても良かっ
Buckle
た。
down, you can see the TSM duo far below. But now I want to go over to Larson and
エッチエッ
Smite.
チ。
Is this the longest either one of these teams have not only been alive, but
攻撃のやり方が
as well. But at the end of the day, they want to fight. And that fight they will get. And between Larson and Smite, they have a little bit of that high ground. Their only team could
そういやらしいって意味のエッ
At
チっ
this
てこ
point,
と
I。don't even know if they know it's Looter and Muzz. How do they? You really... like, how do they? It's been happening for so long. Maybe they walked away, came back, said, hey, is this another duo? But no, it's just...
あ、ハイジさん、
It's just
どう
Smite,
も。
It's just Muzz, it's just Looter. And now out of material, Larson trapped up. Box like a fish, almost. Smite turns it around, though. 2v1. They try to swing in, and it's not looking good. They are hurt.
ただ今鍋を食べながら、世界大会観戦してます。いやー、こういう形。ありがとうございます。
That's huge for them, for their comeback attempt. Get as many placements as possible, but there's a couple other teams that are stacked up here as well, and it does look like the surviving member of that duo.
お、阿部ちゃんシチューなんだ。
For a moment, but he cannot go back into the storm.
シチューってさ、なんか
Eliminated by somebody else.
茶色い方と白い方あるじゃん。どっち？
3 points for Thomas HD and Trippin, who are on the heels of Vino and Queasy, but now 4th place is down, 5th place is down. The top 3.
阿部ちゃんもどっちが好きなの？あの茶色い方と白い方。俺は断然白なんだけどさ。
Another team towards the north side of the map on the western side.
白は俺も好き。
A little bit of a pull to go. I don't want to say I called it, but I wanted that little bit of an eastern side. We don't want to go all the way north anymore. We want to give a huge fighting chance as Sentin and Cold. They're just a below surge, but barely below as they're continuing to find the tags, trying to get themselves above. Just like that, it appears.
いやー、これで20以上なんだ。
That's not a feeling of comfortability at all. They know their job is not done just yet, and that's why they keep surveying the field.
That is right. Great tags here. Scepter is going to find down low. This is where you need to really hit your shots. When your team is just on that line of danger, when the storm surge is looming, and when the pressure is on, who can go ahead and put up the numbers that matter most? Noah Riley, bad sniper, very low on HP, not even pausing to go ahead and heal one another instead. Pushing on in. That's the Japanese duo right there. Zagu and Mareem, they are champions of Asia, the most recent FNCS champions of their region. You have to put respect on their name.
ちゃんと入ってる。
EU boys are learning very quickly as to why you don't walk up to that wall.
Yeah, and they're actually one of the teams that have some of the best performances when rebooting a player. They got a 25th place finish. They got a second, but Noah Riley doesn't care. He gets tagged up. Zagu gets dropped as well.
うまい、うまい、それは。
But the Asian powerhouse team do it again.
ザーゴーだいぶ HP やばいけど。いやでもよく耐えたわ今の。
Carolina, we love to see these teams stepping up under the lights, under the action. Thomas HD Tripper doing that as well. Look at how they adjusted from game 1 on this day, from game 7 to game 8 now, right? All of a sudden now, they are so far above with the damage.
But historically, when it comes to
いやー、ナイスザゴーミリム。この試合行きたい。アジア勢がさ、この世界大会でビクロリ取ったらマジですごいと思う。
It was only because they had a bad game 2. They had a 0-point game 2 yesterday. Other than that, they were among the top 3 in performances at the second half of the day. If they can continue that here early, they will be on the run.
昨日の1試合目、アジア勢がしっかりと世界にちゃんと通じるっていうのを証明してくれたから、本当にそれが嬉しい。
Fourth, they slipped way on down, and this time it seems like the Storm Surge has ran a number on them. Now let's take a look at their current
ついに俺らアジア勢もちゃんと世界に通じるんだぞって。
Now remember, if there's any zone you want to be in the middle, it's zone 3, as it gives you the highest odds to pull that fourth one. Beyond that, it's anyone's ball game.
And the interesting thing about Cammy and Seti and the way they're playing this weekend is historically, we've talked about it in the desk to kind of start the day yesterday. They're not an aggressive team. Even though they're in a top placing team, they're usually on the low, but right now, another top placing team on the leaderboard. Joe and Z Andy trying to get busy. Malibuga goes down. Merstash is by himself, trying to live with just a sliver of HP as Joe wastes no time trying to get to the box, but Z Andy goes down to the storm. 1v1 situation. Peace Control goes right back over to Merstash. He peeks through at the wrong time. Huge back by Joe to get the double elimination.
And we love to see it. It's usually your friends that turn on you, Joe. See Andy against Malibu.
それ勝てちゃうのか。
Tough one right there, but they will be the EU team on top in that engagement.
This Queasy and Vino team that's sitting comfortably in first place as Booga taking down clicks in the feed. And that's what we want to see. We saw a little bit busy earlier. Now we're seeing Booga start to get active. This team is beginning to come online. And for a team as dangerous as they are, they have never placed out of the top 3 monster. And they want to keep that accolade intact.
It's going to be a tough one, though. They will have to continue to turn up. But Vico is in a fight up against Zagu and Marine.
Zago, Mirim.
Vico had the biggest game closer yesterday of any other player on the day. This man is an animal.
Dangerous as can be, and you can see Pink.
攻めすぎちゃったか。
Very similar situation, top of the mountain. They got some traveling to do. A few teams around them as well, but they're just trying to figure out where the rest of the teams actually went. So right now, they're trying to figure out what that slow side is.
Let's see it. Joe by himself. Z Andy picked apart on the rotate. No heals for Joe. What a tough spot to be in, but hey, at least he has Chrome Splashes for the rotate. It's gonna be tough. We're holding our breaths. I'm sure he is as well. You can see he's just biting his lip, looking around like, oh man, I gotta time this perfectly.
When do I move? When do I go? That's the question he's asking himself second after second. As Thomas and Tripper 271 above the damage threshold. Not much to go, but they want to get there as fast as possible. In a zone like this, you want to get yourself that sweet spot, and it looks like they're going straight for the high ground.
Don't overcommit here. Shield Bubble comes down to protect themselves. This will allow the builds to get to max HP, and now they can start to read the room. It's Epic Whale. That's not an easy duo by any means, but no, high ground cannot be claimed. There's still some natural terrain off to the side there. They have to weigh their decisions. Thomas HD, so much better in this game here, looking so much better. Tripper as well.
I like this view of the lobby right now because it really shows us how stacked that right side actually is. We're going to probably see some teams launch pad early if they do not get the zone. As Hijo Belusi picking up a couple duo of King and Ed. You see Epic Whale, a player that usually is lighting up the leaderboard, having a couple struggles, but he is too a second half team. A lot of these teams are known with their backs up against the wall to come up big.
Akon and Edgy might have found some points there. That is huge, but no, it's just going to be taxed. Oh, actually, yes, yep. Edgy will get the Elim credit there. That's going to effectively push them over. Cold and
もう買ってるよ俺は。もう買ったよ僕はバトパ。
And they're just continuously looking for the shots all around. Finally finding that comfortability here. Finally finding some sort of stride to work with. And you can see the chili chug splashes coming out. And that's how they're going to try to rotate across while all the other teams are stuck in that mess on the side. They did just enough damage to weaken one team to try to put them the focus of that lobby.
残念ながら僕は買いました。
And the heals are looking excellent for this duo, but the material count halfway. They will have to fight for a refresher. Vino is going to get tagged by Refsguard there, and he loses his shield as well. And now split from Queasy. Queasy bases out wide here to put up a front on high ground. Scram and Chimp, who land outside of the Lustrous Lagoon, all of a sudden trying to turn us around. Edgy is down. Acorn by himself. World of trouble, and he goes down to Avery from the side there.
That is huge because they're having a pop-off game right now. Seeing Commandment getting a few eliminations already. Chimp and Scram finding success here on the day. They had a top finish yesterday. They're looking to replicate that some way, shape, or form. But Vino, Queasy, you know what time it is. 5th into 6th moving zone. This is where they typically try to go for that high ground.
下の持久走いい順位取れたら課金だからね。
But you know who is consistent is our remaining first 3. Vino, Queasy, Thomas AC, Tripper, Seti, and Camis are still in this game. Amongst all that, you have the solo Joe, who was just picked up, and now Vico, one of the only few who can actually jump back into this.
If anybody can do it and pick up some big placement points, it is going to be him. And if you look at his inventory, he has that recipe for success. Queasy, Vino, just looking for that information. Like I said, they're right now looking, is high ground take going to be possible? As they're spotting all these players around, figure out who is moving, where to go is Tripper and Thomas. 33 below the damage threshold. They're going to launch pad, get ahead of zone. And as soon as they do, even though they're not in zone, they're going to be looking all around them to try to find the tags that they need.
The best part of what we're watching right now is the preparation, the hard work, and all of that coming together here for the EU trios or duos at the top right now. Because at the end of the day, we know they put in all the work. Vino is going to find Reet and then crank his way up to high ground. And all of a sudden, he is trying to go for a back-to-back. They might just be the most winningest team of the FNCS Invitational at this rate.
Back-to-back games, 6th moving zone. They take the high ground with a well-paced launch pad, but Scented and Cold, they find 2 eliminations on their way to the end game. And if they could just make it that far, they're trying to stay ahead of zone, trying to find some elevation to work with. But Chimp and Scram fighting for the high ground against Queasy and Vino. And Vino right now doing a great job building high enough to shut down that opportunity.
Queasy's going to meet him there as well. And look at this, it's going to cost him a ton of material. So it's not over yet. Launchpad comes in, and there it is. He almost gets boxed out. And Queasy and Vino have to give up the high ground. Vino drops down.
今アメリカは何時かね。
And the defense, it's
わかんない。
It's tasted on height out of nowhere.
And while this action's going down in the mud towards below ground, Booga and Miro found 2 more eliminations. They're continuing to light things up as Andalix finding one. Vino finds another on Robot Kebab before going down.
Oh my god.
No build, just a few bandages. This man is trying to make miracles happen. Looking towards the backside of zone. He gets shut down by Pablo.
And it's actually a time for Thomas and Tripper to catch up. Finally, this power.
あとこれ2位の人が落ちるんじゃないかワンチャン。このまま落ちてく可能性あるよ。2位まで落ちたな。だって神。さあ神セッティがまだ生きてる。これワンチャン神セッティ2位まで上がる可能性あるな。8じゃあ10時間ぐらいの時差あるんだ。ってことは向こう時間でだいたい12時くらい昼の。いやーこれはしゃあない。
turn around now out of material. It's all or nothing. A quick edit down low as well to keep him in the game here. But the low ground, there's two, and it's a dangerous two. It's scented. It's cold. They're waiting here at the loot.
神が死んだ。ダウンだ。神がまだダウンだからセッティがまで来てる。
And he works his way on up to the top. Meanwhile, Clown playing upset and Choppix and tasting her down. Watson Robab managed to find 8 eliminations, and it's just Watts on height.
これハイグラめっちゃ有利だな。おセッティ頑張れ。
Chrome Splash, Bobifying himself, dashing, trying to take the high ground, but a misstep by Golden Scented as well. They both go down to Hen. He is putting on a show to bring them to the top of the leaderboard.
It only takes one game to jump back into this top 10 here, and you're watching players fighting for it, putting it all on the line. 9 elims for Watson Robab, 3 for Clown, who has a little high ground position here over the lobby.
ハイグラのポジション
It's Hen,
なかなかいいな。
They're the only duo alive standing right now. 1v1v2, Clown versus Wax here. Wax is looking up and high, a great jump shot there, and he is down. And now Clown has to take on 2 of the best here on EU. Guild Hen, Focus Vortex. It's not looking good, but it's looking great for Vortex and Hen, and they close out.
They had complete control of that game. From 8 moving zone and all.
ボルテックスでいいのかな。
Really making that dream work, and off the back of Hen, that 2 eliminations at the end to get the siphon, that was the recipe for their success.
And they were just so close to pushing double digits there. A low ground win is not something we've seen, but let's get caught up in a little insight from the pros.
Hello, hello. I am joined here by Vortex and Hen after that incredible game. How you feeling, man?
Pretty pumped. Just gotta keep it up.
I mean, obviously grabbing, 8, 9 eliminations in that game. What's the next step for the next game?
Win next game again.
Okay, 2 VRs back to back. I love it so much. And obviously, what was the recipe for success there? There was a lot going on all around you guys.
We made lots of mistakes yesterday, and we're trying to come back stronger. So we're trying to fix all the mistakes made yesterday and, win today.
So what were some of the mistakes that you fixed in this day?
Search and rotation.
I love it. I mean, thank you guys so much for joining me here. Congratulations on your win. Can't wait to see what you guys do next game. Let's head on back to the desk.
Thank you guys so much. Hen and Vortex picking up game number 8. And all with 9 eliminations. This is kind of what we talked about yesterday at the end of the day, right? Yesterday was kind of like an initial setup. Let's go ahead and let's fight a few times. Let's play a few games. But today, we really want to bring it. For them to come out in game number 8, basically the second one of the day, this is a really good jump start.
This is where they have to shine, right, Zeke? And they did exactly that in this match. I mean, one of the few victory royales that actually come from down in the dirt, from below, and they made it happen.
Yeah, they really did. And what you noticed from that interview right there, they were saying, of course, they had surge issues yesterday. They had some positional, rotational issues. And this is something that I thought might happen with this duo. They're 2 fraggers ready. They don't really have that lead. They don't have that IGL. I think Hen is trying to take on the role at the moment, but they're 2 fraggers by heart. And I think that overnight sort of VOD viewing session they must have done has really helped them fix those issues, because although they might not have that dominant leader in the game, they've been able to look back at their games and think, okay, we're fixing this, we're fixing that, and clearly it's working out.
And just kind of like the holding, right, and reserves there, being almost a game entirely of solos, except this duo. They just kind of held out, right? They're saying, we don't know why, but everyone's fighting all the way around us. Let's just wait it out. Top 3 here are, it's a 2v1. Yeah, let's close it out. 9 eliminations, no big deal.
Look, Queasy and Vino were looking for high ground. Tayson and Chapix were looking for high ground. The battle up above was dangerous, and it was actually too dangerous because the duos kept getting eliminated, losing a teammate, ended up with too many solos, where in the end, Hen and Vortexer just made it happen.
And I feel like looking back at the game, Queasy and Vino, they were looking good, right? For a moment, for most of the game, they were actually low on builds. And then we kind of blinked, and I was like, hey, there's someone in there. And you guys like, oh, it's them. Like, no, someone's above them. It's Tayson, it's Chapix. Where did they come from?
Yeah, they were uncharacteristically low on builds in that end game. And I think the main reason for that was when they went for a pad in that half and half zone, we saw Vino and Queasy very, very split. Of course, that had to expend so many more materials to not only box up in their own individual boxes, but to get back together as well. I think Queasy may have gone a little bit higher up, and Vino was getting sprayed out of the air, so he had to do a little bit of a little slalom through all the bullets, and he ended up landing down below. So many of those builds were wasted there, and I think ultimately that's what
やー日本勢頑張ってほしいな。日本勢とかアジア勢だ。もうトップ10くらい、トップ10入ったら本当すごいと思う。
The consistency with the drop spot, it's looking dangerous.
We'll talk more about them in just a moment. First, let's go to Adam, who is standing by. Adam, what you got?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Zeke. Can I get a huge round of applause representing Brazil? It's KBR and Zeke! Amazing stuff. I'm joined as well by their translator, Gabriel. Gabriel, I'd love to ask Zeke firstly. Currently 6th position in this competition, 4 games left. What's the strategy for the last 4 games?
Sexto, então, Zit, você está em sexto lugar do seu time e faltam 4 jogos para terminar. Qual que vai ser a estratégia da agora para frente?
De agora pra frente, a gente vai tentar nessas últimas 4 partidas pegar o high com a dica do nosso amigo DK e tentar levar o top 1 pro Brasil. Vamos, Brasil!
So he said we're gonna take the strategy of our friend over there, DK, just to go on high. And so let's go Brazil.
Let's go, Brazil. And lastly, to
get into the late half. These are what we call the champion rounds. Game 9 will solidify just about the halfway mark for day 2.
Yeah, and you're seeing some of these teams heat up just like that battle bus. Monster, you said it. Game number 9 is about to start, and for a lot of these teams, this is the second half of the day. This is the second chance they're going to get here to try to pick up as many points as they can. And for teams like Muzz and Looter, Larson and Spy over towards Grim Gables, they're feeling each other out more and more and more. Last game was the longest
寝落ちして
ever
た。
taken, in my opinion, for any team off spawn.
これから9試合目で
It was
す。
a drawn-out battle for Smite and Larson, a tough result from that as well, as they were one of the first contested duels to actually fall there, which is, again, that is how things change here. It starts affecting the standings and the leaderboards in general. They came in around that, upper 10th position, and now they have allowed others to start to close that gap.
Vico and Marion over towards Reality Tree. Next time around, we get to see how he's doing it. And look at that. He got himself a little parkour spot, knowing exactly what he wants to do in order to get that loot, and that's just quick thinking coming out of him, and you can see why he's quick to act.
What's super interesting is now our top 16 from 4th to 16th has become extremely competitive amongst those standings and those positions. From 1st through 3rd, it's definitely competitive there as well, so we're starting to see a little bit of a divide. Meanwhile, Booga and Miro affected. Bevies and Vortexer find the 2 early. And they're going to be one of the first duos to fall here in the last game. And it really shows us that teams and duos, regardless of how good you are, you have to put up the numbers, you have to perform. And they are fully contested there now. So as we jump on over to Vico and Mirai, have been playing excellent here. They fought their way up to that 9th place position, coming in with 158 points. Very great performance so far.
What's amazing to see is their loot path right now. They hadn't popped a single shield, big or small, and they got themselves almost 100 shields each, and that's because of Reality Tree and those mushrooms at the bottom that get you about 15 HP or shields. As Smite and
現地の
Smite that we're talking about,
会場行かなかったんでしょう。
tagged up in the sky, that high position, going over to Muzz and Looter, and it's doing them wonders right out of the gate.
まあ一応アルバの人だからなんで付き添いみたいな感じじゃない？
Amount of damage that they got, they want to go aggressive and try to take advantage.
保護者枠って言ったらいいのかな？
Mr. Savage and iDrop already getting busy, taking down on one first, leaving Baka as a solo.
That's right. And lucky for us, we get to tune in with Zagu and Mareem. And this is very cool and also
おお、そこ漁ってたのか。
officially switched up their drop spot here on day 2. We have not seen anyone as notable as high placing as them.
アジア代表応援だ。
They have had a pretty clean start to the day, but they've also slipped down a little further than they would have liked. As we jump on over to retake versus Vico here. Little head-to-head action. First tags are going to come in for Vico. They're looking good. So far, they lead the points here, Jacob, and also the execution very much in their side.
And for all of Vico's great games. It starts here, but a massive tag is going to have him back down in a defensive position where Mariah's going to have to try to figure out a way to alleviate some of that pressure. And you see the sharing is carrying, Minis being passed around. Novice going for the piece control. Unfortunately enough, a missed opportunity, but that's not going to stop him from trying again and again and again. He knows the amount of damage he just put on Vico cannot go to waste.
Now keep in mind, Vico and Mariah are inside the top 10. They cannot afford to fall now. That will have devastating impacts to the standings. And a huge side angle there. Mariah is hurt. Forced into the low ground position. Forced to run away from Novice and retake. They are proving why they were invited to this setting. Meanwhile, Zatu falls to Macwood there with a knock. So the changes, the adjustment, it is heating up in the south zone. It's heating up on the west zone. We have a lot going on right now.
I don't know if they just saw him, but Macwood and Kanata jumped on him from Shimmering Shrines all the way to one of the highest spots on the map. As Bad Sniper taking down both the NA West duo Pars and Rays. So you said it before this one. Action is heating up rather quickly here on day 2 as teams look to take control of their own destiny. But another prolonged fight as Mariah and Vico trying to catch Novice off guard. The shots to come through, that actually saved Vico's life, even though it wasn't a ton of damage. That would have allowed Novice to keep going.
Buys him some time here, and this is why he took those zip lines out the side there, trying to find these new angles. There's something so special about watching high-tier players navigate the map. Very much a strategy type of situation, type of game, when you really break it all down. But Ryan and Vico are going to go ahead and settle down now, as they need to go ahead and recuperate all of these lost resources. So was it worth it, right? Was it worth it? On average, you need around, I don't know, 400-600 damage, right? Around that range, around that first storm surge area. They've managed to do enough, but can they climb back loot-wise?
They can keep finding
ザゴーたちの位置って全体的に真ん
to
中
regenerate as much of the health as possible. It could definitely prove to be worth at the end of the day.
だからあんちゃ入りやすいんじゃ
Spend
ないか
any of
な
their
すごく
utility in order to regain it back.
What do we think about this? Larson and Smite leave the drop. They say, all right, Muzzlooter, you got it. Last game was solid. You can have Grim Gables. I'm getting out of here.
But it almost looks like they left TSM duo trying to go ahead and still put the damage onto Muzz and Looter as he, Andy, and Joe floating in all the way from Synapse Station, trying to put the Tiki tags onto Kanata, and that's going to be his shield disappearing right before our very eyes. But ultimately enough, the Cloudy Condos teams who lack damage very early on, beginning to put in their own tags. Everybody right now feeling the pressure of the leaderboard to try to get active, to try to pick up as many points as possible and close the gap.
See the look of focus on Z Andy's face here as he's got a lot of things to think about. Players to the left, players to the north. Very tough spot to be in. Acorn on the other side. Acorn and Edgy still housed up in their position. Remember, Noah Riley is here, but Edgy is down. So Acorn left to try to play this one out by himself right now. He is in 7th. Second highest placing NA East team currently alive in the lobby. Cole and Scented lead with the points, but Scented has done enough to go ahead and perform while Acorn is just behind them.
And right now, this time around, a little bit of a switch up when it comes to that zone from northeast, looking like we're getting a little bit of a southwestern zone for some of these teams. And Cold and Scented, they spotted that one right away. They moved a little bit south, trying to take that position towards Tilted Towers, where you know a lot of teams are going to try to travel through to try to get their own spot in the zone. So that's a good opportunity for them to try to pick up as much Storm Surge damage as possible. As Thomas Trippin having such a fantastic day number 2, but that should be no surprise to anybody. Like I said, the history shows that they're a day 2 team.
I'm a bit concerned about this position here, though. This is very much reminiscent to the Game 7 positioning where they took their time, played high ground. Yes, it's more textbook as they split up, but professional players are very much not willing to rotate through those open areas. Meanwhile, Commandment and Avery also hoping for the same, playing the high ground of the Rave Cave.
宿題全部やっとけ
Team in sight. It's very, very tough to play those positions out.
Yeah, I would love to see them kind of switch up their spot, because right now, they should know there's not too many teams above them. And the zone being on that edge, it's going to be a little bit of a slower side, slower opportunities, but Peterbot and Jamper trying to pick up some own opportunities for themselves, trying to make that sneaky play all the way from that far eastern portion of the map, slowly but surely trying to close in on some of these cloudy condos teams that are trying to go ahead and get their resources, because you know as well as I do, this has been a little bit of a split between all three European teams.
If you're looking for a highlight, we might just find one. We are just moments away from something big unfolding, and Murstache and Malabuka know better, but on the other side, there's another fight too. Moraine and Vico, top 9. Such an important fight. We have to see if Moraine can actually clutch up for his teammate. Yes, he will drop down and get on top of Vico's body. He doesn't even box him up because he doesn't have enough resource to do it. He would rather save it in case he has to fight his way out of this one. Falconer and Hellfire managed to execute a big elimination here, and now are extremely curious as to whether or not Moraine is nearby.
I think Sentin and Cole just took out the NA West 3-time champions, Favs and Snacky, on their own way to the journey. Peterbot taking down Murstache as well. Everybody really trying to prove their own path. They don't want to have anything other than their own decisions really find out if they're going to make it to the top or not. But this one continues as Malabuka's trying to stay alive here as a solo. Peterbot and Jamper don't want to let these points go to waste. They know the Storm Surge here is so important to them, including those points on their way to the top.
Peterbot refuses to end this day in last place. He wants to fight for more points. Yesterday was a very, very tough showing for them. And now, what can they do? What can they earn? Jamper's gonna get hurt there, but he does close out in the end versus Malabuka. And that ambush pays off.
Yep. Looter, Muzz, spotting out Vino, trying to put their own damage there from the distance. Along with Queasy. For them, it's not too much to worry about. That is huge. That's a huge opportunity. As Robab Kebab also goes down to Andalex, this is an opportunity for everybody to take control of their destiny. Queasy, Vino, box to box, wall to wall, taking that peek, and a great attempt on the Looter. Unfortunately enough, didn't find its shot.
Now, Muzz and Looter, the difference between this fight and their early game battles is they actually have had time to fully loot out Grim Gables. Vino is great. He shows us what he has. He puts a huge shot onto Looter. Mind you, this is our first place current team leaning into game 9, taking an extremely risky battle close to the edge, but he is not fearful at all. Vino's gonna swing around, look for the angle to back up his teammate. Muzz opens the box, but nothing just yet.
He's gonna be important in a fight like this as Vino finds yet another tag onto Muzz.
It's textbook. That's what you do. Right camera peeks. He's playing it very smart, taking his time. He knows what he's doing. Take a look at how he's trying to control the terrain as well. Muzz doing just that as well. But Muzz is playing off his left side right now, so he does have to be extremely cautious. Looter fully commits in. He tries to take on Queasy, but Queasy is quick. He defends. Doesn't even get touched.
Yeah, this is a good trade of damage for both these teams, but it is a prolonged fight. You see another team closing in on the distance. Want to join in on this fun, especially if they don't have enough points. They're trying to close the gap as well. 266 below the damage threshold, but not for long.
Things are going to update now. Vino and Queasy looking solid here. They understand they are good and they do not need this fight currently. And now they look for the disengage as they manage to not push over Muzz and Looter. Muzz and Looter have such an interesting history of how extremely respected they are, especially as it pertains to Muzz's mechanical skill and Looter's accuracy. So a wise decision there. They may not have a lot of points, but in that setting, I think they're probably on top.
And as we find out, the zone is actually going to be a good zone for a good portion of the lobby to have their fighting chance here. And this one is Cammy and Seti. Honestly, if you watch the beginning of their games, you almost get that feeling. Am I watching the same thing? Am I watching the same game over and over? Because when 8 broke, you don't have to fix it. Cammy and Seti's early game is one of the best. And that's why they're currently in 3rd place, only 21 points out of 1st.
Z Andy, Joe FN.
ポイント差結構あるんだな。
Reminiscent of what we've seen before, these extremely late rotates. Somehow though, they've managed to consistently find
2位と3位が同じポイントってことか。
Love this here. Finding some leftovers over at the
Hmm?
wall, a launch pad as well. Big decisions to be made here. Do they use it now or do they save it for later? Take it for the road? No, instead, they're going to go ahead and look for tags.
And this is going to be interesting to see what they're finding as we see Acorn as a solo here. I did see him go down in the fever. See now it's happening. He had a fighting chance, but Noah Riley, one and done, sends him back.
Did you see his face? He just blinked, put his turned stiff. He was not having it at all.
He was even impressed by that shot.
He was shocked.
He was shook even right there.
You know, they say life comes at you fast, and that's one of those moments there.
It is though. It is. Can you believe we're already in game 9?
あ、ここまでめっちゃうまかったね。なんで？
Right now, and a lot of these teams are following that same pace. And jump on board, one of the best EU teams here in the lobby, suffering to Storm Surge. Trippin is actually going to go down, 23 below. Thomas, he's trying to do everything he can to find the damage.
What a huge engagement happening here. There's a lot of story unfolding. PH Zin is hurt as he finds one. Kitos is going to go ahead and slide on in after the knock off the Tripper, but they get up. PH Zin slides in. We just saw that happen before our eyes, and now Thomas HD gets the opportunity to honestly try to play for a clutch here, but it's not going to be easy as PH Zin and Kitos have already said in their interview all they are here to do is make Brazil proud, and there's no way they're going to let this one down, and they find Thomas HD.
That was second place. Second place is now down.
強いね。
Brazil region trying to rise to the top as Cammy and Seti are now met with Kanata and Macwood. And honestly, I don't think either one of them can stay too much longer here in the zone. They want to try to get themselves that good spot, not too far behind any position right now. But Cammy and Seti putting the shots in from the distance. They know Storm Surge right now might not be a wordy, but later on in the game, it might have to be something they think about again.
Pivotal moment right there, finding those tags, giving themselves more time to work with, as they are one of the last teams to have to make this rotate right now. Us casters have the wider look at the map, so we can tell how much is really going on here, and this southern area is looking dicey.
Yeah, Tilted Towers is majority in there. You can get different elevations. You got to be careful when traversing through that. As KBR, you see the elimination onto Peterbot, him and Jamper. Such a good run here on day 2, trying to make a comeback for themselves, bumping up a couple placements. But KBR and Zeet overall have been impressive game after game. Their consistency is absolutely insane, and their game plan, honestly, has proven to be one of the best.
With those set of elims, that now puts them just around that 5th place mark. They're on the heels of Joe and Z Andy, looking to go ahead and wrestle that one away, but the lobby is focusing on them. It's not going to be an easy rotate. The next time we tune in, they might be extremely worse for wears. Larson and Smite also having a problem. Surge is active just soon. 20 seconds away and they're below the Surge.
And you're seeing what happens when they don't take that off-spawn fight. Both Muzz and Looter are hunting for damage, and you're seeing Smite and Larson have to do the same, and it's causing them to use a lot of their resources to try to survive this. As you see Reek picking up 2, taking down Threats and Alice, a team forged specifically for this event. As Smite and Larson still trying to peek through every angle that they have, but still below on Surge, not finding that comfortability just yet.
They do know that the body was eliminated there, though, so although no tags, they will find some heals, and that is going to be a difference maker. Full med miss here, but they need tags. They need a couple more. Several players nearby, they all have to also commit. Yusri and Ju are going to be one of the few. Runa and Peppo on the other side of that as well.
うるなペポー。
Hearing the damage.
頑張れ。 ルナペポダメージ多分取れてんだろうな。ダメージ食ってるように見えねえから。
And it was crazy smart of them not to break the chrome builds in front of them. They know this team cannot edit, so they start to turn the focus to the other duo in the distance. But now a decision has to be made. There it is. They find a few tags and a down body that will count, and a little moment to breathe here. Now it's either fire or stop and heal, and instead they take the fight here. Smite looking outwards, and these are the crucial seconds right now that they have to think.
So once again, Storm Surge is going to shut off, and right as they were falling, right below it, a lot of those heals, a lot of their resources being used just to stay alive here in this position. So for them, in the back of their minds, they might be trying to look, when can I get a refresh? Where can I get a refresh? Because sooner or later, that is going to be a must if they want to continue their consistency.
Might make sense for them to go ahead and look for another fight, but on the other side, King and Ed are still alive in another situation. They're really starting to heat up today. All of a sudden finding their footing here in the competition. They're around the middle of the pack, just around that top 25 marker. They can still do big things. They can still show up.
Larson and Smite still dealing and trying to survive. running out of absolutely everything box to box right now against Scram, trying to find the damage they want. This could be huge and absolutely necessary for Smite and Larson to take him down. And you got to imagine Scram as a solo jumping into a duo's box. He was probably hurting on Surge as well. But even with that elimination, they are still 105 below.
And the biggest elim, Thomas, HD, and Trippin are down and out. The leaderboard will give us the full picture here. Seti and Cammy are now the only team that can start pushing for Vino and Queasy right now. Outside of Cold Incentive, but Smite have a bigger problems here as they are looking for Surge. They are looking for a fight. The focus comes in, loses his teammate here, and dips into the zone. Not much to work with. They are going to have to step in. It's all or nothing. Great tags there, but not enough to do any serious damage. Larson is down now for the count. That is it. 7th place out of the competition.
That is exactly why, if you're in a stack lobby like this, falling behind
Surge
could be one of the worst things you could do to yourself. It almost makes you feel like you have no options, you have no control over your game. As Kanata trying to take control of his own, Cammy and Seti as well, 154 above. Even though they're just living in the zone at the beginning of the game, you can see exactly why, and you can see their game planning unfolding right before our very eyes. As KBR, 22 HP. Luckily for him, he is above the damage threshold with only a few players needing to go down.
Luckily, this is not Brazil's last hope here. King and Ed are still somewhere alive in this game, but KBR at 22 HP, you have to wonder, he won't be making it too much further. How far can he push the envelope? Vino, Queasy, absolutely executing, putting in an exceptional performance, not just one day, but 2 days in a row here. And if there's a team, if there was a team that everyone was talking about, it was Queasy and Vino leaning into the competition. We had that awesome videos segment where we interviewed the players and asked them, who do you have as the best player here, the player to look out for? Vino was amongst that conversation everywhere.
That was the common denominator. That's for sure, as Lucy and Hydro have that high ground, trying to put damage onto the lobby, and Cold and Scented trying to cement their side of zone, picking up not one, but 2 more eliminations to add to their total, add to their run. As Hen picking up and taking down Aqua altogether. That tag team coming out from him and Vortex, proven to be successful. As you can see where the leaderboard squeezes, as Thomas and Trippin went down early on. Cammy and Seti taking away that 2nd place spot. And last game, we talked about it, the same thing, 21 points behind. They have closed that gap. Now they're only 13 points behind Vino and Queasy.
Tough spot to be in here. Like we said, KBR has to push the envelope. He is by himself. What exactly will he do here? Running low on material, just a few builds left as well, so it's only going to get him so far. Commandment, Avery, about halfway through their resources, but looking very much solid. Launchpad's going to come out, but the head bounce, that's going to cancel the strat there, unfortunately for him. Clicks is still alive here alongside Duke. They have plenty of heals to work with, but already the lobby focus. He tries to fight his way to the launchpad. This is tough. It's just moments away from being ticked out, and now he's holding on. I don't think it's going to be enough. This is looking like it might be wraps for Duke. He will need an elimination to stay alive here. Desperately running to the zone, and nothing reveals itself to him, and down he goes. From height to height. Hydro, Belusi are still up top. They are so high up. Yeah, time to get off of this. Reposition down later.
Yep, check your watch, because you know what time it is right now. 6 moving zone. This is where typically Queasy and Vino try to make a shot for it, and right now it does look like that one's going to come to fruition yet again. These guys know how to play the end game and take control, but Hydro and Belusi, one of few teams trying to fight for it as well. Macwood and Kanata flying through the sky. They don't want to even contest it. They feel safe towards the low ground in that chaos where it's so many eliminations. Even Clown picking up 2. Commandment going down. Cold gets another one, as Cammy and Seti are just sweet, strolling straight through the zone, finding themselves that sweet spot without too much to worry about.
Hen's got his eyes on Cold. Cold is hurt. Shot from behind, though, and he's still on the prowl here. There are many, many duos nearby, and the tracking on Hen is exceptional, but high ground. Queasy and Vino managed to pull through, honestly. The resilience of this team to continue to play for height. They are now just inches away from the finish line at this point as they continue to dominate the lobby.
And look at that. They're going to be able to hold high ground on top of the blimp. They only just have to force one duo and then maybe reach down off as Cold, Scented, working their way through the mud. And that's where it's going to be a treacherous journey as they find themselves front side of zone. That is a recipe for success as Hen, Vortex, all the way back. 6 eliminations, trying to find their way forward. Macwood, Repstar, they're all joining the action.
Let this be a lesson for every player here. It is not over until it's over. Hen was so far out of the competition, and now he finds himself fighting inside of the top 10 here for a spot at big money. But Pink is still alive now. His story is yet to be told from contested drop now to an end game. Finally, we get to see what Pink is all made of here. Sent to the cold, are so live. 5 elims for them. This is where they play best, the low ground.
They have to be careful though. That's going with an elevation change. They gotta start it now or never. And a good shot by Noah Riley to take down Reek. Everybody having those struggles. Pink goes down to the storm. Cammy gets credit for that elimination. 2 more points, 6 total overalls. Cloud and Repscar trying to meet that total. They get their 6 as well. 4 for Repscar. These guys are lighting up the leaderboard, but the team having free rotation after free rotation. Queasy and Vino pressuring the lobby from the high ground.
またクイジーベノがハイグレ取ってる。
Lucy and Hydra try to get out.
ぐすぎ
Swatted out the sky. It's over. It's a no-fly zone. And Vino and Queasy are just running away with Hype. Meanwhile, Sentin finds one of the feet there. Sentin and Cold might be one of NAE's last hope inside this last lobby. Savage is still alive too, just by himself though, very hurt. Eye drop hunting nearby. Great way to start to turn around here and put a little pressure on the high ground, but this time there, 111 on the height. Savage demands respect, but Queasy says stop that. It shuts it all down.
Perfect opportunity to stagger himself to the backside of zone. Spots eye drop up, but he continues to drop down low.
お、神セッティがハイグレ取った。
By Cammy and Seti. Better late than never as they're forcing everybody down, and they have that free rotation towards the low ground if they want to take it.
This is excellent now. Cammy and Seti have a chance here to close the gap and take back first place. They started it off that way, and they want to remain, but Queasy is still here. Don't count him out. Another set of points, and now it's Golden Sentin versus Cammy and Seti on height, and we also have Janice and Vidil in the mix.
3 teams alive, 6 total players, but Cold goes down, but Janice and Vidil get knocked as well. 1v2 situation, NAE's, the world on Sentin's shoulders, but Cammy and Seti going for their 3rd victory royale in the FNCS Invitational. This is how you cement a legacy. All they have to do is close out this game. Sentin trying to take control, trying to fight for the high ground, but it's not enough. EU strikes again.
お、神セッティ。
Champions, they go ahead, they sit down, and they play this one out through to the end. An emotionalist reaction there as they say no.
神セッティここで1位いったんじゃないか。
It's not over.
Not over until that 12th game is done and dusted, and that was only number 9. This one is heating up quick as the teams at the top of the leaderboard are trying to take control of everything that they can. They're trying to do everything in their power to not let it slip through, because Monster, at this point in time, nobody at the top can afford a bad game.
That is true. They cannot. As the winners start to take to the stage, we will get to touch base with them one more time this weekend. Let's go ahead and send it on down to the floor to get the update.
Thank you very much, MDF and Jay. Give it up for Cammy and Seti, everyone! We've spoken so many times the last few days. We're almost approaching getting matching bracelets time. This is crazy. Congratulations. What a great way to head into the halftime. Another Victory Royale.
Like, we need to get more.
You need to get more!
Yeah.
This guy's confident. Looking at the last few games as well, you wanted to start this strongly. Said you've done exactly that, and you're managing to manage your games exceptionally well. Huh? You're managing your games exceptionally well.
Yeah, thank you so much. We just have to be confident going into the last 3 games, and yeah, good luck to everyone.
Now, looking at the leaderboard as well, obviously we had Queasy and Vino who are very close as well. We now know that this is coming down very... We love a battle going into the last few games. Queasy and Vino are there.
top 10, is there anyone that kind of stands out to you that you're maybe thinking, like, I would really like these guys to do well, or maybe even I
で
want
も
them
だ
to
い
do
ぶ
better?
迫ったね。
For me personally, I've been watching Queasy and a lot recently. They've
Right.
been absolutely dominating. But also I have a couple friends on the board, like Tripper and Thomas HD. I really want them to do well. And they're all such good players, and there's always something that makes them stand out. So every game, it's just a surprise to see how they play and how they play against one another after they've been doing it for years.
Yeah. How do you keep yourself focused, especially like in a situation like this?
I mean, at this point, you just have to know that when you're in the game, you're in it to win it, and you have
Yep.
to be so focused on the right things, because whether you're an IGL or you're a fragger, there's always a role you're needing to play, and being able to communicate with your teammate properly is so important, especially for moments like these when you're trying to get those impact frags and to just win the entire game, because it takes a lot. There's so many different steps.
Yeah, what all goes into that? Because I know, like, I've watched a lot of you in recent tournaments especially. Like, what role do you play? And then, like, what are maybe just a few things you kind of have to be mindful of when you play that role?
I'm personally a fragger, but I'm always having to make sure I'm calming everything properly, being as quick as I can, constantly staying close with my teammate. Because if you fall back, you can easily just mess up the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. I know recently, Taco, you got to cast an event that, of course, Somerset was in. How are you feeling about all this? And, of course, Somerset now being here.
I mean, I think it's awesome. Somerset, you had an incredible performance with your team, and I think Vanessa especially, she's got to be feeling awesome with everything that went down. You guys didn't walk away with the win, but at the same time, I still think that it was clearly a strong indicator of the fact that you know exactly what you're talking about.
Thank you.
I don't even stop. No,
I don't know,
no.
like, I'm just like, stay humble, you know? Like,
Yeah. There are.
years and my community that's just been so supportive over the years. It's been
That
great.
is amazing. Well, Somerset, thank you so much. We hope you continue to enjoy all of the action. Kelly, I believe you're standing by. What you got?
I am indeed, Zeke. I'm joined here by Joe and Zandy, the current 8th place team right now in top 10. You got to be feeling good.
Yeah, feeling okay. The last games, couple of games, I haven't gone the best. Just need to play good in the next 3.
So what exactly happened, and what do you plan to change to make it a better second half of the day?
We're just gonna start double looking everyone.
I mean, it seems even when you guys go down a little bit early, you're still able to grab those elims. So what is the part that you're able to do so well there?
All we can do is just get kills. Like, can't get any placement points.
Yeah, big change-up of zones from day number 1 to day number 2. But for some of these teams at the top, Trippin, Thomas, Cammy, Seti, include at the top Queasy and Vino. Nothing has really changed. They've stayed consistent through and through, and they are your front runners right now. But like Blake said in that interview, you cannot count anyone out. I bring flashbacks to Chapter 3, Season 3, NA East, where Commander Avery started day number 2 in 9th place and had an ending of a lifetime.
That is right. Well, there are just 3 more games in front of us as we are now kicking this off. Mr. Savage and iDrop are going for an extremely wide split here.
あ、寝る。オッケー、おやすみ。
Distance to Onwon and Baka, who have
ま
had
た明日。
quite the day, if we do say so ourselves. Putting up the performance, you can see they've really earned the respect here at Chrome Jam Junction. Early on, of course, we got to talk to iDrop, and all he had to say was, hey, I've been uncontested. I absolutely feel extremely confident here, but that has changed so far.
Yeah, with the FNCS Invitational, this is where worlds collide. And last game, we saw an early game drop from Booga and Mero, and shots already being fired off by Vortexers. But Bevies, he takes a huge amount of damage. Mero gets targeted.
Oh, Mero.
First one down from this duo, leaving a ton of pressure on Booga's shoulders.
Yeah, what's crazy about this is they have just switched up the strategy all the way and have decided they are just going to contest Booga and Mero. Cut their chances at performing any kind of comeback story here and earn themselves a real drop. That's some of the things you have to weigh, right? These are the decisions you have to make. There's nothing wrong with getting a side drop, a split drop, but realistically, if you want to win, you need to have winning loot. Trunkers has got it.
Yep, going over to Grim Gables, a fight that we know so much off spawn. Larson and Smite, they have the majority of the victories over here, but last game you saw them kind of disengage, not really take that fight, but a fight that we know so well. Cold and Scented taking down Raze, And you got to imagine Pars was there to follow. Both of them sent back to the lobby. The NA East duo starting off game number 10 hot.
That's crazy because we haven't seen them actually contest them in that way, so they are mixing it up. And for them to do that tells us, hey, let's play for first. We want to play for points. Let's play for first. We got to close that gap. We need elims.
And for Scented and Cold, a couple second place finishes, close calls right there. Really smelling and tasting what could be theirs, but falling short a few times. Larson and Smite, they know how bad it was to disengage before. They want to be able to try to take this one, but two separate 1v1 fights. It's all about the individual in a duo competition.
Meanwhile, I saw Vino find an elim as well in the feed, so our first place team already picking up the pace as well onto Alice. Shots on the other side though, Muzz putting up a great defensive attempt here, but Larson is hurt. Not looking good for Smite and Larson right now, Jacob.
Yeah, he's trying to backtrack, box to box, that individual fight. They want to bring it back to the duo. They don't want to let one person really decide everything as Muzz and Lure. They have the advantage. They have the high ground builds and peak control going over. But a huge shot to really back him up and stabilize right now for Smite and Larson are doing everything they can to fight back from the low ground.
Not looking too hot right now for Muzz as he has to reset. Starting to run low on the heels there as well for a second. And again, Alice, the full finish there in the feed, so Vino does find himself a set of points. Smite and Larson, one of the few duos from NA that have managed to put up an exceptional performance this weekend. If there is any takeaway here, it is that every region has such standout performers on this international stage. I am sure there have been such surprises, great surprises this weekend that have been revealed for us.
Yeah, you can see this one being another prolonged fight. More teams, slowly but surely, rotating in this direction, trying to go ahead and get their own Storm Surge, so it's not going to be a worry later on in the game as Larson and Smite trying to fight around, keep control of the pieces, Luder doing what he can, flashes coming out, a lot of their resources, Monster, being used very, very early.
Yeah, definitely. You can see they're going to double down, start to farm up some material here. This will make a difference. Larson going for the wall take, has to be careful. That is a 2v1 peak. This is one of the most dangerous things you can do, but there it is. Smite comes from the side there to back him up. Wasting no time there to fight back. Meanwhile, Ju, U-Street start to step on in. Remember, Ju and U-Street are contested by Alex and Bailey, but they have moved out of their drop spot a little early. Smite recognizes what's going on here, and all of a sudden, Larson also doubles down on the defensive.
今10試合目だよ。
Everyone will possibly have to get out of here now. And even then, I think there's an additional team putting their attention into the mix. There it is. Shots from up above.
Yep, that's our team.
もうね、俺もだいぶ眠くなってきた。
Wow. They didn't have the best day number
おお、落としきった。
Day number 2. Shots being fired on the Larson. Pablo picking up that elimination. And this is where it's going to get hectic because everybody also still has to rotate south to zone. And Bevy's in the elimination feed. He did take down Booga. That's not what
世界大会って12試合だよね。
The NA West duo rising to the top on day number 2.
Yep, so fights are starting to conclude now. Tayson finds Aqua as well, so all of our contested drops are leaning towards a conclusion. KBR and Zeke, KBR by himself right now, our 5th place team currently in the back half here. Already has a big task in front of him. It's making up the points and a much tougher one. We get to see how Booga was actually eliminated. Bevy's and Vortex there just catch him, trying to escape. All the while, a tough day for Booga.
In comes Queasy and Vino flying high through the sky, watching all that action from Gables as the dust settles. And you can even see what their plan is. They know some action is down there, and they too want to take part. Their early game aggression on the back of Vino already netting themselves one elimination, but they know how stacked it has actually been. But Scented goes down. Scented goes down for the duo from OCE.
And do not forget, Scented and Cold are the highest current positioned NA East team. Cold is now by himself. This is a problem. The full thirst has already happened. This is a tough spot to be in for our young player, Cold. Cold, who has just had an exceptional year, being picked up by Scented, playing alongside one of the greats in our space, and trying to work his way up, earn his stripes throughout this scene. They are in 3rd place coming into Game 10, and what a position to be in to represent for your entire region.
And if there's any pressure right now, it is solely on Cold's shoulders to stay alive. I said early on that at this point in time, with how stacked the top side of the leaderboard is, you cannot afford to have any sort of bad game.
Batch, Pam still fall there too. Joe and Z Andy just looking around. NA East is getting chopped out of this lobby. But what stands true is Seti and Cammy alive right now, looking very well, baiting out potential opponents to fire inwards to see if they can entice someone to take a fight against them at longer ranges, of course.
That's what they do best. There's Noah Riley trying to go ahead and sneak some shots from the bush. Him and Bad Sniper landing towards Tilted Tower. And for them, it's just about trying to get these angles. As they spot Epic well at the top, that's going to be one shot to kind of add to the total for them. As when it comes to loot, when it comes to positioning, they're not in such a bad spot, but they're also not in a spot to really find tag after tag. There was only such few teams near them actually in Tilted.
It's one of the best things we've seen from Thomas HD and Tripper in this weekend. They have been probably the most malleable team, the most flexible tags here. To land on a rotating duo just in the distance there, but it just shows you they play so dynamic, zone to zone. There is no same strategy, but they execute, and they've been executing all day long.
Consistency is key, and right now, see Clicks and Duke going over towards Shimmer Shrine. They got a knock-in elimination onto one, trying to hunt down that solo. Jace is going to be that guy. And on the other end of him is Pink and Anas, the other team from Fort Jonesy. Duke gets the piece control, going right in, trying to take down Jace. Who's trying to play the defense right here, backs down just enough to buy himself some more time to try to stabilize. But we talked about the pressure of multiple teams looking to get this elimination.
And it's crazy. Their average placement has been around 22.6. It shows us that they are making it far every game, but they are just having a tough time around that halfway mark in the competition. Getting beyond that point is some of the most difficult parts of Fortnite. And if you're not executing perfectly, one mistake will cross you out.
Yeah, and you got to imagine that when you split Fort Jonesy, you're not really getting too much damage on Storm Surge. You're not getting the best loadout. You're forced to kind of either look for tags or look for any sort of some resources. Clicks, spotting out the tags coming from the bush, tries to fire back, not being able to connect with anything. But Duke, once again, trying to push up. This team is in complete focus mode, trying to take control of their destiny, shoot to the top of the leaderboards. And that is exactly what you have to do as the games are coming to a close.
Okay, Cold still alive right now, manages to put up a great defensive hold here. And it looks like they might have found an Elim along the way as well, or pushed off what was the opponents, and now the play to go ahead and get out and play for the reboot, play for the pickup. There's a med kit. He's got well-timed information of this entire area. And look at that. Scented will be rebooted. Our 3rd place team have a chance in this game.
The crowd giving them some life as well. Take a page out of Asia's FNCS champion Zagu and Miram. After their reboot, they ended up with a 2nd place finish.
But hold that thought. Middle East has arrived. Falcon Spy and Bravado Focus is just nearby. They will absolutely know there's a player at the reboot. The information was perfectly handed to them. They have everything they need to execute an ambush. There it is. Spy opens up, and now it's his time to shine here. It's his moment. This is the first fight we get to see him kick it off. I've watched him in creative. He is gross, but can he hit the shots when it matters most? A worst-case scenario is a scrappy player like Spy and Focus here looking to fight back a huge 100. Cold puts down Focus, though, in a great fight, and Cold is 1v2ing here, as he only has a little bit of loot, set to find something in the distance, comes back to support, and he's here!
Oh!
Turn it around!
Make some noise for NA East, as Scented and Cold do it again. They have an entire region on their shoulders.
ナイス返しだ。それはもう強すぎ。
Doing it for Brazil, 138 below the damage threshold for him. Getting that reboot if he tries is not going to be enough because so many teams are around. He needs to get damage all at the same time. His options are slowly closing.
I must say, that was so impressive. I haven't let it down just yet, but let's look at KBR here. He needs 160 damage to get safe here. He's only down 30. You need big
つむつむやってた。
That's huge. There it is. Very nice. Very nice. He sees another team in the distance. And look at this. Turning up when it matters most.
Doing just enough. Just enough. Tag by tag. Not getting too greedy. This is huge. 29 more. Only 28 below. Top of the med miss. Just trying to top himself off. The shots continue to get landed. KPR doing everything that he can.
ああ、もう強い。
Lowering in this lobby. Everybody taking part. But finally, the dust settles just enough. 2 above the damage threshold. That is the miracle KBR needed for now.
Now imagine if he hadn't found any tag, he would be hundreds below the safety line there. But instead, he gets active, he does enough. Cammy and Seti in a zone fight. This could be a defining moment. EU versus Asia now. Peppo and Runa. Absolute savages. You know, we've seen this weekend.
ルナペポそんなところに。
Hang with the best of the best. Do not count them out.
Can't count them out. Can't count them out at all, but it almost makes me wonder, are they suffering the surge? The chase out of nowhere, trying to enter into the Fae. Basil was lost long ago, but Jace
ペポがやったのか。ルナペポがやったのか。
But Sammy, Cammy and Seti getting the top once again. 657, finally leaving their drop spot. Literally on replay right now after every single game.
And this is what they do best now. They will play extremely passive. They don't need to do much. They will be fine damage-wise. All they have to do is focus on positioning. That will be the name of the game for them. And also, let's just talk about, finally, we get a little bit of a mix-up here. The zone pool south. There are new teams in this general area that need to step up. Vino doesn't care where it goes. He finds an Elam in the feed, showing us that you can pull south, you can pull north. He's going to make the best of the situation.
Yeah, Noah Riley and Bad Sniper knows somebody is under pressure outside. Now, you not only hear the storm surge, but see the shots getting fired off in the distance. Ed, that's a revive, and I think King is at least going to try and go for it. But Noah Riley and Bad Sniper are going to be the gatekeepers for them if they're trying to look for an exit.
What's crazy about that is Noah Riley and Bad Sniper have no idea that that is Ed and King right there. And yes, you might have assumed he saw the feed. Take a look at how Vino picked up his elimination. Just boxes up Janice like it's nothing. And takes him right out the lobby. Look at his face. He knows for a fact that that was a huge elimination, and he made it look easy.
If anybody is full of confidence, it is Vino, 100%. You ask him who the best player in the world is, he's going to point at himself with 2 fingers, and honestly, it would be more if he had more.
お、アルバだ、こう見れも生きてる。
A clip to show you why. That's probably
アリスたちがな、どうしても見れないんだよな。
Belusi's going to go down, cleaned up all together. That team from NA West, scrappy as can be, and that's why I kind of looked at them as a very under-the-radar team.
What a crazy reaction time there from Thomas HD to defend off Snacky's peak. He saw Thomas HD swinging a little wide there.
お、ルナペポ生きてる。
Remember, he survived the storm surge with just excellent tags, and still, it seems like he may not have a reboot card to save his teammate. And now he has to rotate out. But we've seen some interesting stats. When you actually pick up your teammate, you have, believe it or not, lower chances as far as the stats go to place higher. And that's because more often than not, you are worried about splitting your loot, effectively lowering your chances. So he actually has a great odds.
まさかそっち入りますか。
His gameplay to best visibility.
Yeah, it's all about those solo points that you can get here in Game 10. Sent it and Cold coming back from the depths. That play, Cold, if anybody can do it, it is going to be him. And just hopefully they don't run out of gas, because right now they are in reach. You see it right there, 247 points in 3rd place. They still have a gap to close though, Monster.
And they are doing just that. I mean, they picked up those 2 elims on Spy and Focus. Again, you don't see a team get rebooted and just find points like that. This is an incredible situation that's unfolding for Cold and Sensed, like giving quite literally a second chance in this game here. But you have a zone that's going to start to play out now. Things are going to begin to constrict the zone pools east, and this is going to favor Cold and Scented perfectly. Cammy and Seti are already here as well. It couldn't get any better for them.
I like Cammy and Seti right now. The dust is settling. They're not getting overly aggressive, letting these opportunities naturally present themselves as they're gathering all that information. Walks, Robab in the distance, followed by Merstash and Malibu, who are a little separated. And in Vortex,
おアリスまだ生きてる。
4 eliminations. Gotta be feeling pretty confident when it comes to Storm Surge, especially since you're landing even
お
more
お
shots.
当てるね当てるね。
Showing you what that hammer assault rifle can do once you let it rip. 2 of them in hand, big damage. Vortex and Hen. This has been a great day for Vortex and Hen.
Yeah.
We talk about a team that was well outside the top 15 and then just all of a sudden turn online, come in now earning themselves a 5th place after several rounds today.
Robab goes down to Duke and clicks. They're trying to make up for that day number 1, trying to bolster their position as Merstash gets one as well. Avery and Commandment under pressure. They had a victory royale the day yesterday, trying to replicate that success today, but they become the focus of the lobby. All directions now joining in, but luckily for them, they have so much position here, so much control of these pieces, they can back out and still be safe.
I need someone to send Avery a tweet and just ask him, how does he play leaning with that posture? I'm so confused.
He's just chilling. He's vibes right now.
He is fully invested into the game. But here's Kito's.
頑張れザゴーミリムレポルナアリス頑張ってくれ。
Little loot split for them.
Make sure everybody is good. Queasy and Vino looking like they got another elimination onto Alice, bringing their total to 4 in this game alone. Trying to run away with it, trying to build themselves the biggest cushion possible going in to what could be a big game number 12. And even though we didn't see it on screen, but let's see how Vino was able to get that kill.
He just continues to add more and more here, adding up Alice.
アレスまあ仕方がない。
Happens once again. Here it is, the half in, half out pulls far east. Cammy and Seti pull half in, half out. Are they destined to take it all away? Can they swing their way back over? Will it be cold and censored? They're one of the few there as well in the conversation here. Vico and Marai need to do more. 14 above is not going to be enough. He's going to slide right past Avery and Commandment. This is dangerous territory to be in. We all know you don't want to walk past enemy builds like that, but luckily they do not swing open, not worth the risk.
But if anybody's ready for that dangerous territory, it's Vico and Meringue. From the start of the game, every single game towards Reality Tree, they get busy very early and they're looking for the shots, looking for that piece control. And you see that duo that was once there, they just completely abandon that position. They don't want to risk it all too early in this game.
Macwood and Kanata on high ground. This is what we love to see. You know, you put them in a lobby like this, you expect a couple of games, maybe 1, maybe 2, to go this way. This is a high ground team. Now, the problem of today, or this weekend, has been these high ground teams haven't made it. We've only seen Aqua in a few end games, and whenever he is there, he's going for it. We've only seen Kanata maybe once or twice make an end game. Now he's going for it.
And you know what time it is right now. You know what time it is, right? 6 moving zone. Got them on the big screen. Queasy and Vino, this is where they typically always, and I mean always, at least try to make a play for the high ground. And I feel like they have the most success in the lobby so far when it comes to making those plays happen. But Sensen and Cold talked about the position they are. 3rd place on the leaderboard. Thomas and Tripper just a little bit above. 453 when it comes to that damage threshold for them. The only focus is getting to the next zone.
But their loot looks great. The launch pads in the inventory, they have everything they need. Queasy and Vino are playing such an interesting strategy. Late from behind, they try to swing all the way on in, and that's
さあ人数めっちゃ残ってるな。
interesting way to play this one out because what they want to do is allow the zone to pull very, very far, give them room, and then time.
頑張れ。
And now look at this. It puts them in a prime position to start eyeing and sizing up high ground. But Sentin, Cold already there, beating them to the point. Start to look in. Someone lands in the box, and Cold is possibly there to defend. Yes, he's still there. It's Avery who tries to land in the box. No, sir. That was a mistake.
And they instantly close in on him like a Venus flytrap as Queasy and Vino. They've done it yet again. They have that portion of the high ground, but you see they're staggering Vino back, wanting to let nobody get any opportunity to try to steal it away. And the only person that does gets taken down almost immediately, adding to their elimination total.
They're making it look easy. Seti and Cammy now also very much positioned to make another big endgame. 15 duos remaining here. Thomas HD and Trippin still have so much left in the tank as well, but they get broken down. Oh no, a great block there though. They were just one build away from potentially getting taken out the lobby. Too much shot starts to come in now. The focus is here. He has to swing around. This is looking terrible for a second place team. Trippin is nowhere to be found. Thomas hits the launch pad. He swings past high ground and Queasy and crew. And there it is. Trippin falls. Thomas is now by himself.
They're trying to go for the high ground right now, but Chappins is shut down. But Tayson's having to do it by himself. But Queasy, he's gonna abandon it for now. Vino's gonna follow suit.
クイジベノが諦めた。チャペックス。
The refresh and the siphon is absolutely important. Tayson trying to break into the box, but he goes down. Vino and Queasy will not be denied.
And this is why they're some of the best. He was there to back him up. And it works out so well. Bevies and Vortex from contesting Booga and Miro at the drop, running them out of Chonker Speedway. Now running it up to the high ground here in an endgamer, looking like they want to take home their first victory of the weekend.
Down goes Vino. Down goes one member of the first place team.
To the hands of Cammy.
A chance right now for teams to try to overtake that top spot, and one of them is going to be Thomas HD as a solo. Doing everything that he can, trying to move through the builds. He has enough resources to make it happen, but Queasy, no build to his name. 1v1 against Drew, but he gets taken down thanks to the storm.
And Thomas HD is still alive right now, clutching, which is so monumental as first place has finally fallen. They have a chance to earn some points here. Cold and Scented are still alive as well. Thomas HD needs to make up 15 points in order to close the gap here. Scented needs 30. That's a huge jump up. Cammy and Seti are also still alive right now. On the heels, so close. Cold and Scented don't want any of it, and they back him off.
There's more than enough points if Scented and Cold can keep up this pace, keep up this pressure for them to have a shot at the last game at the end of the day, but Cammy will not be stopped as well. Thomas HD goes down, Seti gets dropped, but Cammy knows he can't be the hero in this situation. He has to try to continue on without him, but he finally gets dropped. Thomas HD is on a roll.
He's done a lot, but you can't fight yourself out of that spot there. Clicks and Duke are alive. Sensen and Cold are alive. And on high ground, Vortex and Bevies. It's EU on top, down goes Cold. And a great tag there from Vortexer. And the finish now, Bevies slides his way down, painting the loot here. Does a couple edits there, but no, doesn't hit the shot. Bevy is so quick, but not fast enough. You're going to get some of the best. A great low tag there from Duke.
This is huge for Duke and Clicks. They have the high ground right now, but for Bevy and Vortexers, taking out some big names already on the day, using these builds to try to keep that advantage. Duke, he's in a fray. He ends up on top. Clicks and Duke could take the game with Vortex. Bevy outside of zone.
Clicks, Duke.
His only chance right now, but he gets the down on the Duke. Clicks versus Bevy. He's trying to go for the
マジ？それ勝てちゃうの？これはすごいわ。それ勝っちゃうのか、強っ。
How you feeling, Clicks?
We're feeling good, you know. We struggled at the start, but we finally brought it home, you know. So.
And Duke, Duke, when you're watching Clicks in that final moment after you go down, what's going through your mind?
I was just hoping that he had more whites because he got the siphon from the full kill, and then I heard a pump shot and he won.
Clicks, I don't know if you heard it, but the audience went absolutely insane. Let's do it again, guys. What does it feel, man, to hear that?
Their support's crazy. I'm the best fans by far. Just look at them in the crowd.
Congratulations, guys. 2 more to go, and let's head on back to the desk.
Massive congratulations.
おいおいおいおい、あそこ勝てちゃうのかよ。強すぎだろ。
There it is. That moment where it's the 2v2. We are literally sitting here going, this is literally where you want to be, Clicks. This is what you're known for, is being put in these situations. Now is your time to shine, and so masterfully handled from Clicks and Duke.
Those head-to-heads, they're so easy for them. I loved watching this endgame because we were like, oh my gosh, Cammy and Sadie are going crazy. Oh my gosh, Tom and JD top of the leaderboard. And then we went to that wide, and all of a sudden, Clix and Duke are on the low ground, looking healthy. And right here, the teamwork is just so clean. Of course, Duke takes the blunt of the damage right there, ends up going down the bevies, but Clix is so smart in these endgame 1v1 situations that he recognizes this player could potentially have heals. He hears the splash go up, makes the push for it, and the little mantle cancel right there and gets the shot off too. So clean.
That was just an absolutely disgusting clutch moment, though, from Clix. He saw the work that Duke was putting in as well to take the brunt of that damage, like you had mentioned, Vivid.
Yeah.
But it was just such a clean finish here. And I think that that's really a moment for Clix especially that is going to permanently be in a highlight reel for him.
That's right. We're going to talk about more of these duels in just a moment. But first, we have Adam, who is standing by with Cold and Scented.
Yeah, thank you guys. Let's give it up for Cold and Scented! Cole, we're going to talk about the clutch up earlier on. You rebooted, then you suddenly find FKS and Spy coming through. You managed to stay in the game. The crowd went wild. Walk us through that one.
I don't even know. Scented had flew to the Coney vault.
Yeah.
And they just caught me alone as a solo, and I just kind of tried living, and I had no more mats left, so I kind of just had to fight, and it ended up winning.
You did. And obviously, you know, that now puts you in a great contention now. You're currently third in the leaderboard right now, 44 points off the top. You guys, 2 games to go.
And then that chance to call yourself literally one of the best players in the world after this global competition.
That is absolutely right, and what a better way to kick this game off than a perfect split down the middle, and this is it. It doesn't get any better than that. Last game, we saw Clix and Duke have their moments and take a win, and that just tells us anything can happen here on this stage. These players have been invited to this event for a reason. They are some of the most skilled players we have in the space.
Yep, you can see already Clix living with all the momentum over towards Fort Jonesy. Business as usual for these teams, looting up, getting some resources, starting your game off, and trying to replicate that success when it comes to Clix and Duke specifically.
See it, get the touchdown, get their loot together, rotate early. They do not want to take a fight. Here's a tough spot to be in. Bevies and Vortexers were moments away from taking a victory royale before things change. Miro finally starts to clap back, but what you're seeing is just the cold hands. Unfortunate. Puga does fight back, though. He will be able to save his teammate here. And does, of course, get the siphon as well. Materia is more important, though, because if Vortexer pushes up, he's got everything to gain here.
Really nothing to lose at this point. Puga trying to will themselves back into this one. Saving the play for now. Miro still down, trying to hide his body, not wanting to get that one, give it up to Vortexers. That's 2 more points for them. Puga doing what he can, backtracking, trying to go ahead and get his shields up as well, trying to get as many mats as possible. He knows the fight is inevitable, and the shot's going to be landed. Puga back to back.
さすがブーガだ。
All he needs is 1 more shot. But he's going to find this moment to breathe and stabilize before he goes at it again.
And it looks like we will see all of our faves start to have their moment here. Puga does need to, of course, finish it now.
いや、さすがブーガだ。
They win back the drop. Soccer Speedway swings back to Puga and Miro.
Yep, Miro did finally go down there, but it's not going to be.
さすが1位になっただけはあるわ。強い。
Vico and Marine, though, trying to sneak their way towards the bottom. Taj retake and Novice off guard, but Bevy and Vortexers down altogether. 6th place, 212 points. That's going to be a chance for some of these teams that are outside of that top 5 to try to jump right in it and outpass them.
And that is crazy, because they had such a great game prior, pushing them so far up, and now all of that zapped away. Momentum gone, hits the reset, all down to now just 1 more round. And that's something else to think about. Every engagement, as you get sent back, the players have to sit there, wait for the next game, and start to formulate a plan for their last chance here at the FNCS Invitational. But first, of course, we You have to get through this one right here. Vico and Moran playing so smart here. Last round, they were taken out a little early to the hands of Retake and Novice. Not something we've seen too many times before. Meanwhile, iDrop gets boxed up by On1. And Larson and Smite still fighting here. They've lost so much momentum as well in the back half of the tournament.
This could be the key, though. This off-spawn fight right here could be the key that unlocks what we've seen yesterday. That potential we know they have. As they're just trying to go ahead and stay towards the low ground right now. Stay in a position that they think is advantageous to them. The shots coming in on the side from Looter, trying to take that piece control over. He peeks through. Looter gets out just in the nick of time. You can see them with that bubble shield flirting with the opportunity.
Let's see it play out. That bubble shield will influence how it's going down. Let's see if Smite's gonna find a huge tag there onto Looter. It's gonna buy him a little bit of time here. Now remember, Smite was in top 5 before the last 2 games were pretty tough, and now he's fighting all the way, and he boxes him up and sends him right back to the lobby. We'll see you later, Muzz. We'll see you in the last game. Smite is here, and he's not messing around.
Looter's doing what he can. Lands a good shot, but the angles right now, everything is going to be cleaned up. Larson and Smite trying to replicate that success of day number 1 and bring it here to day number 2 as we check on board. Retake and Novice, they were able to catch Vico out.
Wow.
Enough sneaking around, they tell him.
That's going to slip them down further and further for Smite and Larson, though they jump up a position. That puts him in 13. They're closing their way back towards that top 10, top 5 spot that they started the day off in. Meanwhile, Senny and Cammy sticking to the usual, giving us that great update. We thank you for that. Just letting us know, hey, listen, first place, they're chilling. Second place, they're chilling. Don't worry about it.
Over to Tilted, no Riley, bad sniper. On over to Blip, trying to steal away the loot from Acorn and Edgy. Locks in the feed, taking down Scram, cleaning it up all together. You know him and Robab love to be aggressive in any lobby, let alone an international stage.
Yeah, big shout out to the Bad Sniper, of course, representing for the French community. They are some of the coolest spaces that we have out there. One of the coolest communities, always building amazing content. But let's get back to it. Colden sent it, who are in 3rd place, leading for NA East right now. That interview was so perfect. Cold is just like, hey man, you know, we're just doing our thing, doing our game, all right?
Backs up to get to the wall, man. You just gotta play with what you have at your hands right now. And Hen and Vortex. Hen is having a phenomenal tournament along with Vortex. Honestly, flying under the radar.
あれ当てれんのえぐなんでそれ当てれんの
Distance, finding the shots necessary so they don't have to worry about surge. And thankfully, they not only have the vault, but they have the rotation.
意味がわかりません
So once they feel that comfortability of the damage threshold, they can instantly try and find a good rotation out.
And Hen and Vortex are in 5th now as well. 230 points picked up. A great day 2 showing so far for Hen and Vortex here to put them back in the game. Trippin and Thomas not too happy about that last game. They've gone from 2nd to 4th, falling slightly earlier than their counterparts. So everyone else starting to really pick up when they're letting things slow down. Meanwhile, Pick and Anas still in a fight right now. It's a player on Heights. Seems like they might be giving themselves a little bit of distance as Jason crew who land at the coastal areas. They've been the team giving Peterbot and Jamper a hard time this weekend. Very little room to, I guess, contest here. And Jason Basso are one of the few that have stuck to it all weekend long.
You see them tempting fate, baiting Jace to run away, allowing Basil to get a couple more shots as he possesses that height advantage. Pink and Anas doing what they can to fire back, not finding any success, landing any damage for them. But first you don't succeed, you try again, and with Basil continuously putting out the shots, that's where they're gonna try to peek through. He's gonna cover Pink while he begins to rotate out and lead the way. Ziandy's down.
Ziandy is down. Joe and Ziandy are actually 2 Elans up this game because they took down Booga and Miro here at the Chonker Speedway, and now they're being focused by another team in the distance. A big knock there, and they're gonna break all of those, but it's actually Macwood and Kanata looking south, trying to figure out what's going on here. Joe will get the save, lucky for him, and take a look at how much loot. They have excess and much more as they get to double back into Chonker. I'm sure they'll be able to go ahead and make up for what they lost out on, but time, you don't get that back.
Yeah, especially right now, the blessing of those Chonker Speedway teams, one of them going down, the other one rotating out, but Scented and Cold, we talked about it almost all weekend long, even coming into this contested again towards Loot Lake, but they're not fighting it at all. They want to go ahead and play these games out because right now that has been the recipe for their success. And honestly, with that last game, clutch up from Cold, they have to be feeling like they could take it all at a moment's notice. You said it yourself, all it takes is one big game.
And little by little, we're seeing players like Cold really come into his own, finding his own here. What a story it has been for that player there. But Queasy and Vino, chilling in Shiny Sounds, no sweat at all up here. Okay, we're fine. We have launch pads, we have plenty of heals, we'll be just okay. And now they're gonna go ahead and start moving south there. Back on over to No Rally and Bad Sniper. Belusi and Hydro are here, but someone in the distance, it's Bad Sniper who takes down Belusi. And look at how much loot they get rewarded with as well. Now they have decisions to make here, but they already have 2 launch pads. Acorn and Edgy are still here as well, lurking. And Bad Sniper's much smarter than that. He knows there's a teammate behind him. You can see how he's looking back just to double check. He's gonna drop a Legendary Ranger for the epic shotgun here. This is interesting, that's because it just does better in close range fights like this, but that end game Ranger shotgun is just amazing. Let's see it.
At a distance right now, but they're on the hunt for that elimination. You said it yourself, they know he's a solo, but Acorn and Edgy hearing all this action go down, they want to also take part in it. There's a couple eliminations up for grabs. Bad Sniper's just on the move. Hydro goes down. Finally, they get cleaned up. Noah Riley and Bad Sniper adding 2 more points to their total, getting all that loot, surviving in the storm.
And lucky for us, we do get a quick update with Mini Miner here for Game 11.
Really, really good on the Storm Surge all day. And you might be wondering, how do they have the heals for that? Look at this. Cammy emptying his entire inventory into the base that they've built on the top of this Cammy split area, on top of the balloon. And they're able to take damage now because, of course, they have those extra heals on standby. Or we can see just Cammy getting as much heals as possible, bringing it up into the top of that. And, of course, Seti is, meanwhile, while he's doing this, he's getting his tags. You can see on top of the balloon, if he does get tagged, as he did do earlier on, he can go all the way back down, use all of those heals that were inside of the base, and they don't have to waste any. So we're seeing them go into zone with 800-900 surge tags and having max heals. Great stuff from this duo.
He might be mini, but his brain is big, giving us all the information we might have lost. And I know a couple people at home might be jotting that one down. Oh, that's how they're getting the surge. That's how they're looking so well when it comes to endgame with all those resources. As Mixon takes down Fatch, Hen's going to be by himself, and I talked about his incredible run. Now he's going to have to really put that to the test. With 75 damage above the damage threshold when it comes to Storm Surge, that is not much at all.
You can see Hen just sitting back there by himself right now. Needs to continue to earn his way up if he wants to hold this 5th place spot. He's managed to claw his way towards. You wouldn't have thought it was possible looking at the way things played out yesterday, but that is what those extended moments between the halfway mark and, of course, 2-day formats have to offer us is the full spectrum of the best strategies and plays that can be developed. Scented getting a little greedy there to get a flopper, but it seems like it was worth it, and that's because they can tell that they are just above the surge. And this is where I always say, only the best have to hit these shots when it matters the most.
Queasy Vino talk about the best of the best. Well, they might have heard Jim Monster, and we can see them being 97 below the damage threshold. This is a big switch up, but that because the zone is pulling so far south. They're not able to stay on top of those balloons to get the damage, but they're going to find it either way. That's Scram and Chimp who are under pressure right now. Queasy Vino using that launch pad. They're trying to get ahead of all these teams that they know are stuck in the zone.
Queasy marked him. Queasy marked the Nos. He's going to go for it. You can tell and know a third party swings in. This might be the moment that changes it all. Queasy and Vino are extremely hurt. That's going to use all of their chug splashes. They're below the Storm Surge, and it's even more desperate now. Pink and Anas versus Vino and Queasy. It's on.
Taking that piece control, and what a piece it was. Big shots to be fired. Queasy drops down low, but they clean him up. 1, 2, 3, they are out.
They are showing us why. They are
Ah,
in the
chica.
lead. This is a
Bien,
force that cannot be stopped.
I would hate to end up in front of them because they are looking like a
Good.
runaway train at this point. KBR and Zeke, phenomenal run, staying alive by himself for Brazil. KBR getting tagged out of the sky, 11 HP. Storm Surge also doing its thing. But the pressure of the zone as they get stuck inside. Not too many heals between them both, so they gotta hurry up and find their way out of here, or all that damage they did will go to waste.
And Brazil must be so proud. KBR and Zeke have managed to hold top 10 and PHN and Kitos as well this entire weekend, just putting up such phenomenal performances with, again, some of the least representation of the region we've seen here on this international stage. But Cammy and Seti, as always, in the storm, a huge hit there. Zeke's gonna feel that one. KBR ditches his teammate. He's gonna take the bulk of the shots first. He loses his shield and picked out the sky. Sammy Seti here has found it. Oh, in the finish there onto KBR. Down goes the Brazilian duo.
I don't want to get in these guys' line of sight. Everybody is getting terrorized by Cammy and Seti. Next up, it looks like it might be the TSM duo. NA West, 6-time champion Epicwell. Reed is becoming under pressure as well. Dropped to about half HP. Multiple players taking focus of him as well. Hens by himself. 1 elimination. 268 above the damage threshold. Slowly falling below, but for him, it's about finding that spot into zone, going ahead and building more than just a 1-by-1. And the reason why you want to do that is because if nobody spotted you there, you don't want people to know that you are a solo.
4th place, housed up right next to 5th now. Little do they
あ、これ11試合目よ。
just the ever so dangerous Trulex. Chicho just in the distance. Thomas HD are below
ごめんごめん。
Storm Surge with 0 elims coming into game 11 right now. So this is that kind of position that's going to force them into a box. If they start to recognize the opportunity that's nearby, it's going to be tough. And here it is. They say, let's start working our way towards it. We need to get to the edge here. There's only a couple teams there. And does a great job of fighting back. King and Ed are starting to jump into this conversation as well. And shots rain in. Tripper is hurt.
Sacrificing some of his own shields just to get the damage, but once again they fall below 7 at that, just 1 shot. But nobody is peeking. These stack lobbies know when and where to try to go for everything. But Hens on the other side is a solo. More damage is setting in on the Thomas HD, and now Storm Surge begins to tick.
And sometimes that's all you need right there, and there it is. Tripper looking around in the distance. He's worked his way up. Trulis and Chicho are willing to open up a big box there, and Tripper now has a decision to make. Do you go for the gunfight or try to heal this one out?
期待しとくわ。
He takes the ladder. He's just gonna go ahead.
いやごめん、めっちゃ集中してた。めっちゃ集中して見てた。
Towards the loot, it is a matter of time, and it looks like our 4th place team, Thomas HD, does just enough to be in the game, but he falls there, and the look on the camera tells us that they are devastated to fall in 4th.
4th place just fall, like you said, and Scented just went down as well. Cold's gonna have to clutch up big by himself. These are the final 2 games. Every moment matters, including this one right here, where Hen is just under pressure from Trulex and Chicho. Trying to stay alive, trying to find a way to stabilize, backing up slowly but surely, but those pieces are going over to Chicho and Trulex, 1 by 1, and they know that he's by himself. This is theirs for the taking. This is going to be interesting because for them, they also don't want to get too far behind the rest of the lobby when it comes to the zone. They have to make a decision quick.
See how it's going to play out. Looking very tough. Let's go ahead and watch how Hen falls there, because now what this tells us is that things are starting to open up on the standings. Look at this. Hen finds King, walks in, plays for the elimination, and he actually gets that one too. Afterwards, he does go down, so at least he earns some points, but that's going to freeze him in time, lock him in at 5th, and open things up. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd has so much less to worry about. This is by far one of the toughest games Queasy and Vino have had on the day, and it all makes sense. It's pulled in such a far direction that you can see that it finally has caught up.
Yeah, especially since game after game after game, they had that recipe for success and such a drastic change. They might have not been too prepared for it, but these guys have dealt with almost everything and adapted on the fly. Their flexibility is insane as Cold peeking through, trying to get that information on these players that are in the backside of zone, trying to wait for that perfect moment to strike. The Trulex and Chicho spots another duo right in front of him, picking and choosing his battles here. And with Ju going down, I don't think that's a battle he wants to take anymore.
Cold is now by himself in third place, 282 earned points in the competition right now. The zone could not be better, though. He gets the half in, half out, and you know he is so happy about that. You know, sometimes you just need that little bit of favor on your side.
78 above the damage threshold, Smite Larson.
Wow.
Off spawn Grim Gables all the way to here. And that really was the difference maker from last game to this. That damage onto Muzz and Looter really is propelling them this far into the game because they don't have to worry about Surge. All they have to worry about is getting to the front side of zone time and time again.
It's so crazy. After every tournament, we always look at where was EU, where was NA, who was in the top 10 representation, and we have truly had such a fair balance, a fair representation on the stage here. It's been amazing. While all this is going on, Queasy and Vino continue to earn more, this time onto the international duo, the mixed duo of Chimp and Scram. So they knock down Scram, they catch him in the spider's web, and through the trap door, the trap hole, Chimp gets caught as well. You can see he just punches his fist there. He says, man, I missed that one.
Yeah, and a prime example right there of why you try to use as much as your hard mats first before you go ahead and try to use that wood, because it's easily destroyable. They can break through it, shots can fly through, and it's going to be hard to hold. And game number 10 victors are just one box away from Queasy and Vino. That's Clicks, that's Duke, trying to have some replicated success into this one as Kanata, Macwood under pressure, trying to trade the shot. 693 above the damage threshold. That is not even a slightest of a worry.
Clicks and Duke had their moment last game. Macwood and Kanata might just be doing it here right now. I have not seen them in a better position yet. They have the mats, they have the launch pad, they have the positioning. They could do the unthinkable, which is play for high ground and take this all home and get their win today.
And honestly, I see it's 6 moving zone. Normally I would say it's Queasy and Vino time, but this has not been the most friendly game for them. They might not be in the same position. They might have to adapt, just like Spite and Larson. Trying to adapt, accidentally phases through the build. Luckily for him, nobody was on the inside, but the pressure is there. Larson forced to slow down just a little bit as they continue to fall below the damage threshold, along with Clicks and Duke. They are 61 below, but these guys are scrappy. These guys are fighters. They know how to get the job done.
That's right, and they're in 15th right now, so
Taka.
Duke have a chance to fight for top 10.
いやめっちゃ高いなハイグラ
I called it. If I know Macwood and Kanata well, I know that they absolutely want to make a statement, but they get chopped down. Macwood saves himself. It's all good. Vidil and Janice are the team closest right now, putting the most threat. Textbook plays here to go ahead and jump down, position up, poise up. Cold is still alive, earning points. Queasy goes for height. They said, NA, what? We're up here. Let's do it.
With or without resources, that is their play. Call it their signature move. 5 eliminations, but now they find a way to stabilize. They have done it, Monster. They have secured the high ground and taken it away from Kanata and Macwood. With the launch pad going out, that's going to be recycled for sure. Everybody has to go up and down these terrains. This one, Monster, is a literal roller coaster.
We might see a 3-way fight for height. Bad Sniper Noah, touchdown and go for it. Jamper and Peterbot, they want their win too. Everyone wants a win here today. Bad Sniper gets slapped up by Kanata though on the side. Kanata takes down Vino while he's at it. And just like that, Queasy is left by himself.
And Cold gets another one as well. The solo plays are coming out big, and those are absolutely necessary because he's still in third place. He's still in contention. Cold's trying to do it again. Spots another player out. Finally, his run comes to an end, but he did so much. And to get this far, BHN and Nikitos trying to do that same thing with Brazil on their shoulders. 4 eliminations, trying to get as many points as possible. Clicks and Duke trying to do the same. We talked about replicating the Sex. They're trying to take that high ground away from Ked.
Cammy and Seti are here. 6 eliminations now. High ground looking down. They can get a 4th victory royale. When was the last time you saw up to a final
うまいなほんま。でもわざわざめっちゃアンチがにこれジャンパー使うんでしょ。
trying to get in the zone, but 19 HP in a dream. Has to find a way to stabilize here. Pop those minis, get as much shield as possible as players are continuing to drop.
とっさにこれができるの強い。
Clicks versus Peterbot here towards the mud. They're trying to do everything they can to stay alive. Larson, we talked about 8 eliminations, but they added one more, 9 total. But Smite gets chunked out, but Larson's there to save the day, taking out Runa.
おルーナー。いやルーナーよく生きてた。いやでもルナがめっちゃ頑張ったと思う。
This is going to come down to it. They could get their 4th victory royale. The only team going to stop them comes from NAEs trying to rise up, and it does look like they are out of builds.
But they find a little bit of loot here. Larson goes for the med kit. He's trying to get as much HP as possible. Seti now starting to run out of material on the high ground. This is it. It's going to come down to nothing or everything here. As he has no mask, great tag there, and a trade, an open exchange. It's not looking good for EU right now. Into the zone they go. Smite and Larson are down. Larson is by himself, and no! He turns and gets burned.
Cammy and Seti take their
おおこれ神セッティがリクル取るか。
If you counted them out, now you know why they were brought here to the Invitational. But hey, we got Game 4 winners, another win in the win. Adam, catch us up.
Wow. I've gone ahead and ordered the matching bracelets at this point. I think this has been a bunch of times now, chatted to you guys over the weekend. And another victory royale going into the very last game. Seti, what a performance there. It went all the way, but could you see as well on the elimination feed that you were the last team in the top 5 there, still in contention?
Oh, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can see the points here. Things have changed. Currently 360 points, 12 points ahead of second place.
We still have to be confident, keep calm, and focus on the last game.
The zones as well here, I'll ask you, Kami. The zones have changed a lot now, aiming more towards the southern side. How does that affect your play at all?
Like the south zones are so much better for us because it's so easy, so much easier to rotate for us from balloon. So nice.
It's great. A good battle there against Smite and Last at the end as well. And you guys came out on top. You managed to take the high ground back. How advantageous was it having that high ground?
It doesn't really matter for us because we play low ground just as well as we play high ground. So yeah.
Okay. Well, you heard it there, folks. One game to go. Cammy and Seti, everyone! Woo! It's getting hot here, Zeke. I'm excited, man.
For the first time here in the FNCS Invitational, Queasy and Vito are asked to step aside. And it's not even an ask, it's Cammy and Seti kicking in the door and saying, hey, we want first place.
Oh, man. Listen,
We get to decide who
さあこれがラストか。
You got the 2 top players that have won 4 games so far from Become Legends, Seti and Cammy. The other 2 contesting them from the same region. From Tundra, you got Vino. GXR, you got Queasy. And in 3rd place, you heard him in the interview. He's trying to hold on to that spot. From NA East, you got Cold and you got Scented. This is what it all comes down to. The final game, the final moments to take what you have.
That's right. And what a weekend it has been to celebrate international competition here in person with all of you in attendance. We absolutely love to see it. Here we go. One last ride. Let's do it.
50-50 right out of the gates on game number 12, but there's going to be nothing on top for
あ、
anybody to work
いや、
with.
いいや、やらない。どうせ俺これ見終わったら終わるし。眠いもん。おお。おいおいおいおい。待てよ、これ上位チームじゃないか。確か1位、2位だよね。マジ？おお 1v1 1v1。
Bubble shield going out. He's trying to bait it. He's trying to bait the revive so that way Cammy might peek. Breaks through the wall. Shot's gonna be fired. And they do it. Become legends are on top.
Become legends has officially managed.
Shield going out. He's trying to bait it. He's trying to bait the revive so that way Cammy might peek. Breaks through the wall. Shot's gonna be fired. And they do it. Become legends are on top.
Become legends has officially
おい、まさかに1位と2位勝っ。おいおいおい、ラストマッチ盛り上げるじゃん。おいおい、盛り上げてくれるじゃん。しかもこれさ、ポイント差的にこれ勝つんじゃないか、普通に。これ3位の人どんだけ伸ばしてもきつくね。
even think we've had that in mind. That
they know
was
it.
Crazy.
They know it too.
Absolutely
the celebration coming out, the emotion, the passion raining through, and even though they kind of cemented themselves the top spot, they're not happy at all. They wanted that first place
めっちゃ盛り上げるやん。
Vino and Queasy, a huge round of applause for doing what they did all weekend long.
That was the most craziest thing Vino and Queasy could have done, and it just shows you the heart of our competitors, the courage of our players in this space. What a moment. Things are going to open up now. Scented and Cold walked into this thinking to themselves, hey, we got third. Well, not anymore, boys. You have some room here. The runway is open. The floor is yours. There are still tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, and you put that weight on your shoulders. You allow that to be left to chance. Now we get to see this ride out. What a fight.
Yeah, you talked about that thousands of dollars, still a huge, life-changing amount of money to be fought for from our competitors still in the game right now. And that fight's coming down. Hen and Vortex trying to take the high ground away from Joe and Z, Andy. Both players have been playing out of their minds, but you talked about that top spot. Joe and Z, Andy, are just right there as well. As they fought down low, they want to try to clean this one out. And you can see our champions still, they don't want to just take part. They want to take over. They want to cement their legacy. And it looks like just winning isn't enough as Joe and Ziani, this fight is going to continue. 86 players alive. Everybody is getting more and more busy, more and more proactive because they realize how much money is still on the line. And with the first place team going down and getting overtaken overall, it's going to be a huge moment for a lot of players here today.
Such a big chance now for Joe and Ziani to continue to see what they have. But Hen puts the numbers on the mark, and he gets taken down first. Ziani with a great elimination there. And all of a sudden, Ziani and Joe are the kings of the Flutter Barn. They should be able to finish this one up right now. The tag away, Vortexer gets tagged for 26. Nicely done there. Here comes the edits.
Yeah.
This is still a big moment here.
まさかの1位と2位が初動かぶせ合うなんてな。あれどっちがかぶせたんだ？
Yeah, and we talked about it. You talked about one being in 5th place. You got Joe and Z Andy in about 14th place to start this game off, but Lucy and Hi Joe still having to want to have a great performance as well, but you can see they're just looking in the distance, trying to see if this vault is looted or not. Finally going to go ahead and get in. You can see them kind of checking their angles. They're still wanting to go ahead and change their lives with the amount of money that's still up for grabs. Thomas, HD, and Triprin battling for third place against Scented and Cold. They still have an opportunity at some money.
Thomas, HD, Triprin working their way around right now, really looking around.
ジマゴン、違うよ、俺が優勝したんよ。ごめんな、俺が優勝したんよ。あの優勝トロフィーは紙でできてた。残念ながら。とても軽くて柔らかかった。
Wait for that perfect moment. They could have taken the shots on the King long ago, but they're just waiting and biding their time to try to go ahead and take out the same player at the same time, but it looks like they're baiting that opportunity if any of them dares comes up to the top of that building and tries to take that balloon as an exit out.
あ、そういや、阿部ちゃん、そうか、日本から参戦してたか、そういえば。でも残念だけど、勝ったのは俺なんだよな。
Both of them getting a little bit more active in this game, and overall, game number 12 is going to be a menace.
And they're still lurking about here, looking for anything. Meanwhile, the rotates are going through. Let's jump on back over to Joe and Z Andy right now, who are trying to close out this duo, but no, they don't manage to find it. Somehow, Vortex is just slippery enough. And you know what? That gives him a chance. He has a chance at still holding on to 5th place. 6 is down. 7th is down. Smite and Larson did not do it.
That's unfortunate. The only teams right on the cusp as well is team from Brazil, Kitos and BH in. They still have a chance to jump up some big placements as well.
キング200で参戦だろ。やば。
And in Vortex, you talk about them sitting in 5th place, 239 points. So it's still within grasp. As Cammy said, he's just feeling it from all over the lobby. They already know they won, but they don't want to just stop playing just because of that. They want to get as many points as possible. They want to open that gap wide open, so that way when that legacy is cemented at the end of game number 12, they could say, we just dominated everyone in the world of Fortnite.
Things are going to settle here. The dust settles for Sentin and Cold. They have the elim that they need to go ahead and step their way closer and closer to that prestigious second here. But of course, they have a lot of work to do as well. That will probably come off the backs of a super high placing game. So there's a massive uphill battle that they still will have to perform. Tripper and Thomas HD.
あ、レナシさんどうもこんばんは。
That's their task here.
いや、ラストマッチもめっちゃ盛り上げてくれたな。世界大会。
And that might be a decision they might regret because you have two of the most accurate players aiming at you to take you down. Vortex is going to be that lone player alive, and it almost makes me wonder if he has that read.
あ、4000時間はもうとっくに行ったよ。やっぱりあと登録者だけだよ。
That's a big if, and you can kind of see it spotted out. He's trying to go to the slower side of zone, or the slower side he thinks that would be.
And this is a good move for him to go ahead and just keep a low key. Meanwhile, Peterbot and Jamper are like, hey, we got a lot of zone here in front of us. What do we want to do about it?
アジアチームは、アジアチームアジア勢は一体どれだけ行くのか。
This is a fight that's been raging on. Pick and Anas officially lose the opportunity to break towards top 10. They were getting so close, and unfortunately now fall short. What's crazy about Seti and Cammy now, they have two options here. Ruin this lobby, take everyone's chances, and play because they have nothing to lose at this point.
Great reboot coming out from Vortex and Hen. 5th place right now. Trying to squeeze themselves in and past Thomas HD and Triprin. But it's going to come and be needed for them to have a fantastic game if that's going to be the case. So that for them, it's just holding on to that 5th place spot. If they spot out Vico, trying to take some height immediately target him and trying to take him down, but when it comes to the HP, they have none. They have no ability to try to regain it. Vortex under pressure. Moraine is trying to go ahead and end one as Vortex, the high ground is going to be fought for. Not going to have any success there. Quickly build towards his backside so he can't get knocked down, but Hen does. There it goes. Vortex back to the lobby. Vico and Moraine are going to stand tall.
What a big moment for them. If only they could have done that in game number 9, where they were taken out and they lost all that momentum. They were just quite literally moments away from maintaining, but Vigo and Moraine now have a real chance to also continue to march their way on up to top 10. The points are so close as you start to see who was eliminated. 5th, 6th, 7th, down and out. P8 and Kitos have an exceptional opportunity to represent for their entire region here.
They can steal away. Look
I
how
can hear them from
5
here.
points for 7th place, 14 for 16. This is literally within reach. They can make the run of a lifetime and put Brazil on the map when it comes to Fortnite.
You have to respect the entire Brazilian region.
They won't go down. They won't be denied.
They are just so good. They have stepped up. They have performed. They have given us such a show. Clown and Refsguard now, though, have to play defensive here. This is the first time we've seen a far northeast zone like this, so this is going to get very dicey for most of the lobby. If you were, and I hate to say it, Vino and Queasy, you would have quite literally had the zone here.
Not been something you love, but business as usual when it comes to Cammy and Seti. Staying as far back into zone. They make sure they got all the Storm Surge they need. They started the game off, taking down Queasy and Vino. So this is just all bonus at this point as they continue to hold their spot, not wanting to let that team below them survive because like we talked about, they have nothing to lose at this point. Janice and Fadil have everything to gain as it does look like they're finally going to try to get out. Thomas HD goes down to Alice. Trippin and Thomas got their game on the run, but Cammy goes down to Janice. Oh, back to back. That's going to be huge for Janice and Fadil, taking out your FNCS Invitational champions. So now with first place going down, it's going to be all about the money for everybody else left in the lobby.
That is what's on the line here. Tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars is still at play. Don't forget,
ワンチャン可能性あるのが3位のコールドと名前がわかんねえわ。
There's so much to fight for and the respect of the region, which we already know. So many have earned throughout the course of this week, and that's what these shows are all about. Putting new names and new faces on the map as they put in all that hard work while I'm sleeping, trust me.
Moraine's going to take down Fadil, so it looks like Vico went down as well early on. I did see that one, so it's going to be Janice versus Moraine that far back in zone. And honestly, that's just a few placement points between the both of them. You really want to try to survive there as Booga finally goes down. Joe FN is going to get the spoils of that one, even though he doesn't get credit for the elimination overall. Strippin's just trying to survive, biding his time as that solo. For him, everything comes down to this because he's only a few points away from 3rd place.
Let's watch that one more time. Your FNCS Invitational champions fall here to the hands of Janice and Vadil. With a beautiful tag, he just opens things up for himself and he makes it look easy. And then the guts on that kid to go all the way up. Cammy and Seti know better than to fall like that, but it is what it is. You can't be perfect all the time.
The team that's going to be trying to get as close to it as possible. Found in Refstar, they got themselves a great spot in the center of the zone to where there's very few players around. And when it comes to this zone, it pulls yet again to the northeast. This one's going to be a struggle from everybody on the southwest part of the zone to try to find their way in. There's 30 duos left alive. And for Joe and Zandy, 1,500 above the damage threshold, hunting down yet another team in Belusi and Hydro. For them, it's all about the Benjamins. They want to continue to rack up that points. Breaking through the box, Joe and Zandy getting yet another angle. They know they have one player weak. They know he's at least going to try to heal. And now, as they go ahead and let that player and team try to stabilize, they're going to use that as a way to go around them and in front of them to the zone and try to hold them out of it.
Let's see if they can continue to do just that. Smart play is all that Joe and Zandy need in order to make this top 10 and earn themselves so much more this weekend. But of course, there's a big task in front of you. See the names starting to house up here. Scented and Cold know what they have to do too. King and Ed are just housed up nearby. That would be the wrong move to walk to that box, I'll tell you right now.
It's not a box I would want to enter, as Cold and Scented have one elimination so far. Not having to worry about Storm Surge until now, but they know there's at least one team behind them. Gathering that information, trying to figure out what that plan is going to be, and you can see a lot of our top competitors from around the world all boxed up, just waiting for that next zone, which is going to come in just a few seconds, and let's see who's going to get that reward. It's actually going to be a good portion of the lobby. This is actually a good zone for everybody here to try to make it way in, except for maybe one or two teams.
That is right. This north side is starting to become very contentious here. Muzz and Looter walking up. Tripper and Thomas have a problem, right? A real problem. There's a little too many players on their heels here, and he doesn't want to go first. It's Eye Drop Savage just snacking fouls up there. Here's Kitos. Here's P.A. Zin looking to put up the numbers here. He still has 0 eliminations, but the lobby is thinning out, and it all makes sense. Look at this zone. This is as far to the corner as you can quite literally imagine for a final game.
For them, they just got to make it just a few more teams to stay alive, and they're going to start getting those cascading placement points. And you said it yourself, first and second place going down. You got 5th, 6th, and 7th. The teams directly in front of them, already back to the lobby, watching, hoping, praying somebody takes down the shining stars from Brazil as Trippin finally falls. Basically cements Scented and Cold.
おー、ルナペプまだ生きてるね。
Vino and Queasy are already down.
ザゴーミリムたちは生きてんのか、これ。あ、3位の人だけが生きてんのか。だからこれ、可能性。コールドたちが伸ばせばワンチャン2位まで上がれる可能性はあるね。
Players in the world on one stage for 2 days of competition. A top 5 here would be phenomenal to seal.
A huge success for a lot of these players, even to make it to this point, getting into that top 5.
ザゴーたちがまだ生きてんのかな。ルナペプ、ルナ生きてるの？あれペポ？ペポス。あ、ルナペプ生きてる。
To go ahead and break into that top 10. The glass ceiling has been lifted for P.A. Zin and Kitos. They find 2 more. We blinked and we might have missed it, but lucky for us, we get to go back into the replays to get caught up. How did it end for Duke and Clicks? They had Belusi and Hijo dive into the box, and that's how it ends. But you know what? A round of applause for them. They did get a win today. Clicks and Duke did put up a huge win in Game 11. That was such a performance.
Hey, not many people can say they got a victory royale on an international stage, especially when you got.
I
was gonna say, you know why? It's because they're all up top between first and second place.
アリスたちは見つけたけど、ザゴが見つかりません。まあでも、コールドたちはこれ、3位は確定。真面目にザゴたちが見つかりません。
Down as well. Cool has a chance to probably get Yumi back into this one because he was just knocked all together. But Ju's on the other side along with Yusri trying to finish that one up. They not only want that elimination, they want the loot to keep themselves going to the rest of this game as Acorn and Edgy in a very, very similar position. But luckily for them, they're not forced with their back up against the wall. Their game plan is smooth. They get that early game surge, so that way they only have to worry about rotation after rotation. And with that launch pad in hand, if they get that far pull, that is going to be their next plan.
Let's go. Acorn and Edgy have a chance here to represent for NA. Repsguard and Clown are one of the teams that would have to get pushed and toppled over, who is currently holding and tied for 7th or for 9th with Commandment, who's just right there as well. So it's all or nothing. King and Ed are going for height. King and Ed want to win. They want to get at least a game 2. Can they do it for the last game of the evening here in Raleigh, North Carolina, here at the FNCS Invitational? King and
It's going to be scary for the rest of the lobby, though, because they have high ground, they have front side of zone. Anybody launch padding, trying to get past them, is going to feel the pain, and that includes the same region. Beezin and Keto's flying high through the sky. He immediately becomes the target. Shield just getting ripped off of him, but he found himself a little bit of an oasis and a moment to breathe.
It looks like he fell off the build there. Cole by himself now. Down goes Cole.
さあここで3位のチームまで。お、なっちゃっさんどうも。さあ1位から5位。今これで生きてる中で一番上位のプレイヤーは6位の人か。お、キングが今攻められてます。伸ばせ伸ばせ。日本勢のマジ伸ばせ日本勢。
He does have enough resources. He has a great layer not to get stuck in the chaos that is below. But Joe and Z-Andy, it's their turn. With Vino and Queasy out of the game, they have a chance to hold on to the height and take the game with 7 eliminations.
Who will win the last game of the FNCS Invitational here? PH Jin has lost Ketos on this very dangerous rotate. He will have to use both the chunk splashes here to heal up.
お、キングがキルしてる。
Is by himself too. He has to save King or Azine here. Meanwhile, in the distance, King gets thirsted by Acorn. He's out of the game.
He's trying to do what he can. Chili chunk splash yet again. Trying to use that speed boost, but the high ground to be fought for. Kanata.
いや、ハイガラの取り合いが激しい。
But they get chopped down, sent back to the lobby. Joe and Z-Andy with their 7 elimination are poised to try to take the top spot, but with no resources to try to regenerate any shield or health, it could look dangerous.
Luna.
Like Malibuka and Mustache, wasting no time, getting into the box of Runa and sending him right back to the lobby as well.
The PA Din is still here, and he is pushed off Miro. He says, turn around and get away if you don't want to be taken out just here. And take a look. Now he's looking around. He finds Alice. Oh no. That's Alice on the other side of the wall and threats the Japanese.
さあ6位の人もこれダウンするか死ぬか。さあ6位の人は何としてでも生き残りたい。生き残って順位を上げれば賞金が違います。全然いくらかは全然覚えてないけど俺は。おお、その1ポイントでかすぎ。1ポイントなのかなキルポ。いや、まあまあまあまあまあまあまあ、全然いい全然いい。さあ
They have more than enough ammunition between the both to put down pressure and not let it stop. But one of the big teams, the big names, Malibuka and Mustache, are standing in their way, trying to make sure Threats doesn't have a chance to survive. That's 2 more elimination points, plus the placement point that they could garner here as they enter into the top 6.
And they have a combined of about 15 chug splashes or so. They have so many heals, they can top off at any time. Zeke gets brought down after being saved by KBR. And now, Malibuka and Mustache earn themselves more. This might be the most he lives, and no! KBR falls there to the hands of Yusri, but now it's all up to Malibuka and Mustache down on the low ground. Robob's in between. Acorn and Edgy have a chance here to take a win, but they have to stop the W Keers of EU, Mustache and Malibuka.
That's an insane amount of splashes between the 2 duos left alive. Robob trying to put a wrench into the mix, but this comes down to a 2v2 EU versus NAEs, and both of these teams have all the resources in the world to make this one go forever. So it's about thinking outside of the box, making the move that matters most as Acorn gets tagged up. Has to find some height to re-heal. And they're both out of build. Both of these teams are out of build. This fight is gonna
お、マジ？
He gets chunked out. He gets dropped. Malibuka and Mustache trying to take away from NA East, and it's down to Acorn, the last member. We talked about his splashes. This one's gonna come down to a heel off. Does he have enough to take the game? Menmis coming out, 5 more splashes. He has so much time left in zone, but Malibu and Mustache, they have splashes of their own. Acorn trying to put down the shots to try to minimize the effectiveness of it. They're still in zone. It looks like Acorn has run out of opportunity. He goes down. Malibu and Mustache take game number 12.
And just like that, the 12 games are over, but your champions of the FNCS Invitational are setting.
いや強い。
Congratulations with 4 victory royales in this global competition. They didn't change
いやもう神セッティ強すぎ。
review them because you could have that blueprint, but if you don't know how to execute, it's going to be all over. And give it up one more time for your FNCS Invitational champions, Seti and Cammy!
Congratulations! They have done it! An incredible weekend, an incredible opportunity, and they did not miss a beat. This entire room is on their feet, and they deserve every ounce of support here because these are 2 of the hardest workers we have ever seen, 2 of the hardest players in this space. And you know what? Becoming legends must be so proud. Congrats, Reno.
They became legends for sure on the grandest stage of them all. Emotion, passion running wild. Let's throw it to Adam so we can get inside of the minds of our champions.
Thank you very much, Cammy and Seti! Wow, 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 wow. What an incredible display this weekend. Before we go any further, we must ask, how are you feeling being FNCS Invitational Champions?
Very good. I have no words. We both worked so hard for this, and it's just an amazing moment.
It's amazing. Like, I waited for it so much.
All right, Cammy, you see Queasy Vino dropping on you. Your teammate goes down. It's a 1v1. What's going through your mind?
Like, I just wanted to eliminate him, and as quick as I can. I don't know, because I was thinking that he's low, but I think he missed 1 shotgun shot, so that's why I killed him.
Seti, I mean, you go down, it's just your teammate, and this is what makes the difference to win. What are you thinking?
I don't know. I believed in him for like till the end, and he's just an amazing player, and I knew that he's gonna win, and it was just amazing.
You seem incredibly emotional. How does it? I mean, all these people here, these lovely people, we're here to celebrate you guys. It's been not just the last game where we saw the most incredible events. The last 2 days, 4 victory royales, consistency all round, incredible Fortnite for the both of you. I mean, this has been something very, very special.
Yeah.
Elaborate. What have been the most special parts of this? What is it about your teamwork that's really stuck out, which separates you from the rest of the world here at Invitational?
I think it's because we play with each other for the past few years, so we have the chemistry of like gods, and that's it.
Obviously, we could tell the chemistry there, and I feel like there's a lot of chemistry in the audience right now. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans, family, friends, everyone watching around the world?
I want to thank everyone watching from Poland. Polska Górą.
Polska Górą! And anything else, Seti, you'd like to share with the world?
Yeah, I just want to thank all to like every fan, my parents, my girlfriend, and all the BL boys. Thank you so much.
Amazing stuff. We're going to ask you to lift your trophy one last time. Give it up for your FNCS Invitational 2022 champions, Cammy and Seti! That was awesome.
強いね。
Once again, massive congratulations to Cammy and to Seti from one in-person event to another. These guys are racking up
enough, they do jump into that top.
In your region, and I also loved how well maintained for the last. Knew that it was within his will to secure it.
If you had asked me, Zeke, how is this event going to go? In fact,
$20 万.
Blake, a player we interviewed, asked me, who do you think is going to win? I said, Queasy Vino, of course. I never would have imagined that this would have all gone down the way.
$20 万だから
Game 12, let's just land right out the beginning and take it all. And for take a look at the prize money, $200,000 going to them.
約3000万くらいじゃないか。それで150円だから1ドル。
That's a 30K difference.
It's a huge difference, and that's ultimately what this is all about, right? Those extra placements, those extra points that were being squeezed out of that last game made out, and after top 10.
So language, and as far as Brazil is concerned,
guess what? We're gonna get their emotional reactions to the end of the competition.
Yes, we do. Queasy Vino, fellas.
Second place. It's an amazing accomplishment. To lift it up, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the future.
100%, that's what it's. Somebody lift that trophy up right in front of them. I'm sure all of them want to feel that tenfold. Yeah, just shout out to the player event. That event was 3 years ago, which is why we're talking about history being made right here.
From the moment that we did the player walkouts with the actual crowd in the venue.
わあ、ザゴーたち。最終結果30位か。ルナペパが34位。
I think you could really see all of the placements. They were just so happy to be here, regardless of their placements. They were just so how much they wanted to just proudly represent their region and just showcase the fact that they are capable.
アリスたちが見つからなかった。
I love they were duos faces and all
ア
the
リス
players
アリス
regardless
ア
of
リスどこ
all
だ
of the excitement. That was the instance where I think you could really see all of the excitement venue. That was the we did the
アリスそんなに上位いたか。
Years ago, which is why we're talking, throwback to World Cup at this event. That event was
from the
アリスが見つからんガチで。
where I think you could really see all of the excitement being read in these duos faces and all of the players regardless of their placements. They were just so happy to be here. It was just so obvious how locked into the competition they were, how much they wanted to just proudly represent their region.
I
here to say like, hey, a duo were all brought to one stage to compete here in Raw.
OK。じゃあ今日の配信はここまでにしたいと思います。というわけで皆さんお疲れ様でした。